Chun Fan stands amidst a swirling vortex of dark energy, a colossal, crimson shadow monster looming behind him, its fangs bared. Purple lightning crackles around his outstretched hand, signifying immense power. Chun Fan clutches his head, groaning as a cacophony of voices assaults his ears. He wonders what is happening, surrounded by a crowd of unfamiliar faces in a strange, brightly lit room. His teal eyes, wide with confusion, dart around, a bead of sweat tracing a path down his temple as he struggles to comprehend his surroundings. A vast, sterile white chamber stretches out, filled with hundreds of silent, shadowy figures, each seemingly as lost as Chun Fan in this inexplicable new reality. Chun Fan's eyes widen in pure shock, his jaw dropping as the bizarre situation finally registers, a silent scream of disbelief escaping him. Panic begins to set in as Chun Fan looks around at the unfamiliar faces, questioning the reality of his situation. He desperately wonders if he's been kidnapped or if this is all just a vivid, terrifying dream. A sharp hiss escapes Chun Fan's lips as he squeezes his temples, the sudden onset of a headache adding to his growing frustration and confusion. Suddenly, a flash of memory strikes Chun Fan, his eyes widening as he recalls a crucial detail, the mysterious letter he received. The scene shifts to a flashback, introducing Chun Fan, then known as Xiao Lin, a recent graduate making a living through his exceptional gaming skills. Fellow gamers laud Chun Fan's incredible control and epic comeback, calling him a beast. He, however, reflects on his temporary career, power leveling in games until he finds a proper job. Vibrant holographic display flashes, declaring battle victory, a common sight for the highly skilled Chun Fan. Chun Fan stretches, exclaiming done, as he leans back in his gaming chair, his room a testament to his long hours of grinding. Taking a well-deserved break, Chun Fan relaxes, munching on a cookie while scrolling through his phone, a musical note indicating his calm mood. His fingers expertly navigate the screen of his smartphone, the blurred image on display suggesting casual browsing. Painful memory resurfaces, his father's harsh words questioning his worth. Chun Fan internally vows to prove them wrong, having moved out to forge his own path, still searching for his true calling. Chun Fan's bare feet stand by his door, a crumpled shirt on the floor, as he reflects on an unexpected turn of events, a question mark hanging in the air. A voice calls out, announcing a delivery for Xiao Lin, interrupting his thoughts. A delivery man with an unsettling smile presents a package, as Chun Fan recalls the strange letter he received just 2 days after moving out. With a mix of curiosity and trepidation, hands carefully open the package, revealing a mysterious, glowing blue object emanating dark, ethereal energy. The 2 pieces of the enigmatic object float in midair, bathed in a soft, ethereal blue glow, hinting at their extraordinary nature. Chun Fan presses his fingers to his temple, a wave of frustration washing over him as he pieces together the puzzle. The letter was a summons, forcing him into this creepy place called Dawn Academy. He wonders if it's all just a cruel prank. Stern, imposing man looms over Chun Fan, criticizing his apparent weakness for lying on the ground for so long, mockingly asking if he's here to hibernate. The room erupts in shouts as the bewildered crowd, including Lady Hua, demands answers, accusing their captors of kidnapping and threatening to call the police. The stern man lets out a dismissive tsh, a smirk playing on his lips, clearly unimpressed by the group's protests. With a sudden, menacing movement, the stern man draws his sword, a potent purple aura erupting around him, silencing the crowd with a display of raw power. The purple energy ripples outwards, shattering the calm and sending waves of fear through the assembled crowd, who recoil in terror. Brandishing his glowing purple sword, the stern man roars, demanding silence from the terrified crowd, asserting his dominance with overwhelming force. The stern man, frustrated by the commotion, complains about the idiots in the new batch of freshmen, questioning the admissions department's competence, while Chun Fan and the others stare in disbelief. The stern man rubs his temple, his expression one of deep annoyance, internally grumbling about the incompetence of the admissions department. The stern man's annoyance is quickly overshadowed as Chun Fan, with a defiant glint in his eye, declares internally that since someone woke up way too late and wasted their class time, he'll keep his own introduction short. Advisor Qin Chuan steps forward, formally introducing himself and Dawn Academy's first-year Class 7. He then proclaims to the gathered students that they are the chosen ones, destined to train hard, temper themselves, and eventually rule the new world. Whispers ripple through the crowd, with some questioning the very concept of a new world and others openly wondering if their advisor is insane. Qin Chuan continues, promising that within these halls, they can obtain power, wealth, authority, and even the ultimate prize, immortality. The students in the background react with a mix of awe and disbelief, their faces reflecting the monumental claims. Qin Chuan pauses, letting the weight of his words settle, his expression intense and commanding. Breaking the silence, Qin Chuan abruptly announces that the talk is over. He instructs everyone to retrieve their IDs as the potential evaluation is about to begin. Chun Fan, observing the hundreds of students present, internally deduces that this is far from a normal enrollment, suspecting a grander, more sinister motive than a mere kidnapping. One student steps into a glowing, futuristic evaluation machine, internally questioning their reality, wondering if they are even still on Earth. The term New World and potential evaluation makes him ponder if this is all part of some character stats system like a game. Qin Chuan, reviewing a holographic screen, dismisses a student with a total attribute value of only 24 points, internally scoffing at their low score. Another student, a muscular man, flexes triumphantly as his internal thoughts reveal a decent score of 32 points, exclaiming his satisfaction. Qin Chuan grows increasingly frustrated, declaring the scores to be average, even below average, with only one or two stats worth noting. He threatens to report the admissions department to the principal, demanding they stop recruiting from the garbage dump. As the evaluations continue, Chun Fan stands within the glowing machine, looking increasingly agitated as a flurry of next prompts surround him, indicating an unusually long processing time. Chun Fan, a bead of sweat forming, internally questions why his evaluation is still not complete. Qin Chuan watches, a subtle smirk playing on his lips, internally noting that while others finish in mere seconds, Chun Fan is approaching a full minute on the machine. Finally, a holographic complete notification flashes, signaling the end of the evaluation. Chun Fan internally sighs in relief, exclaiming that it's finally done. Qin Chuan immediately commands Chun Fan to stop, eager to review his data. He internally speculates that such a prolonged evaluation might indicate they've stumbled upon a hidden treasure. A dramatic zoom captures Qin Chuan's eyes, wide with shock, as holographic data reflects within them, hinting at an unbelievable discovery. The system displays the evaluation results, showing the name Chun Fan with shockingly low attributes: Strength 2, Agility 2, Intelligence 2, and Constitution 3. Qin Chuan's face contorts in utter disbelief and disgust as he reads the total attribute value, a pathetic 9 points. Covering his face in exasperation, Qin Chuan curses, stating he's never seen such trashy stats since joining Dawn Academy. Chun Fan stands behind him, his expression darkening. Qin Chuan harshly labels Chun Fan a once-in-a-lifetime piece of deadweight, having never seen anyone start with single-digit stats. Chun Fan, looking away, internally fumes, questioning why he's even there and demanding to be sent home if he's considered such trash. Qin Chuan expresses his profound disappointment, lamenting that he genuinely believed they had a gifted student, only to have his expectations utterly wasted. Qin Chuan stands tall, observing his holographic screen, while Chun Fan remains slumped, a beam of light highlighting his dejected posture, the weight of the harsh words settling upon him. A terrifying flashback engulfs Chun Fan's mind, showing blurred figures from his past, each with glowing red eyes, screaming the word trash at him, a traumatic echo of his lifelong struggle. Chun Fan's eyes glow purple, his fists clench, radiating a dark aura as he internally reflects on a lifetime of being called trash, realizing that even in this hellhole, he cannot escape that dehumanizing word. Qin Chuan, holding a golden ID plate, continues his tirade, stating that with such abysmal stats, taking the test would be suicide, and issuing an ID plate would be a complete waste. Suddenly, Chun Fan's hand shoots out with incredible speed, a blur of motion. In a swift, defiant move, Chun Fan snatches the ID plate from Qin Chuan's grasp, leaving the advisor momentarily stunned. Holding the ID plate firmly, Chun Fan declares with fierce resolve that whether he is trash or not is not for mere numbers to decide. He asserts that no matter what anyone says, he will attempt the test himself. Qin Chuan, regaining his composure, lets out a cynical chuckle, acknowledging Chun Fan's tough mouth. He then mockingly agrees to let Chun Fan proceed, eager to see how reality will slap him in the face, warning him not to piss himself during the test. Female student from the crowd, looking confused, timidly asks Qin Chuan what he meant earlier by a gifted student. Qin Chuan simply scoffs, dismissing the question with a curt humph, his expression one of continued disdain. Qin Chuan simply scoffs, dismissing the question with a curt humph, his expression one of continued disdain, his dark attire and imposing stance emphasizing his authority. He then addresses the anxious group of hopefuls, warning them to focus on the immediate challenge, passing the entrance test first. A determined female student steps forward, reminding Qin Chuan of the Academy's promise of unimaginable wealth and power. Lady Hua, adjusting her glasses, presses further, demanding to know the true price they must pay for such grand rewards. Qin Chuan acknowledges Lady Hua by a different name, noting her highest initial attribute total among the group, yet lamenting her lack of special talent. He assures her he will answer her question, revealing that credits and exchange points are the universal currency within the school, tradable for anything imaginable. Lady Hua, absorbing this information, responds simply that she understands. Chun Fan observes Lady Hua, internally noting her refined demeanor and surprised that she possesses the highest attributes. He deduces that Qin Chuan's polite tone indicates he sees potential in her. The focus remains on Lady Hua, her presence a silent testament to Chun Fan's internal analysis of the situation. Qin Chuan then instructs the students on how to access their status, telling them to simply confirm attribute values in their minds. Chun Fan follows the instruction, his hand holding a glowing golden device as he mentally commands the system to view attribute values. A holographic panel appears before Chun Fan, displaying his attributes: Strength 2, Agility 2, Intelligence 2, Constitution 3. His attack ratings are F for both physical and magic. Most alarmingly, a warning states that each death deducts 10 years from his lifespan, and with only 60 years remaining at his current age of 23, he gasps at the thought of lifespan deduction. Panic erupts among the students as they see their own grim lifespan deductions. One exclaims he only has 9 years left, while another realizes a single death means certain demise. The collective disbelief echoes, questioning how lifespan could even be measured. Amidst the chaos, Chun Fan's eye sharpens, a subtle crackling sound accompanying a sudden shift in his perception. A system prompt flashes, announcing an abnormal fluctuation detected for student Chun Fan, followed by the revelation, hidden talent unlocked, starting analysis. Surrounded by shimmering purple energy, Chun Fan stands in disbelief, questioning how a piece of trash like him could possess a hidden talent. He glances around, realizing no one else seems to react to the system prompt, wondering if he is the only one who can hear it. Another system panel appears, detailing the talent analysis. Its name and grade are unknown, but it passively increases learning efficiency by 100% and actively grants 1 copy attempt to replicate any F-rated ability for 3 minutes. Chun Fan learns the active copy ability can only be used once every 7 days and improves with level-ups. As the first to obtain this unprecedented talent, he has the right to name it, prompting him to ponder a suitable designation. The determined glint in his eyes, Chun Fan decides to keep the naming simple. As purple energy flares around him, Chun Fan declares his new talent's name, Top Student. The system confirms, talent name, Top Student Level, LV1, talent rank evaluation in progress, as the purple aura intensifies. The evaluation concludes dramatically, revealing Chun Fan's talent is ranked as an astounding SS, the purple energy swirling powerfully around him. Elsewhere, Qin Chuan expresses his surprise to 2 other students, revealing that even his authority couldn't detect the top student talent during the scan. Chun Fan, still surrounded by the ethereal purple glow, reflects on his newly acquired SS rank talent, realizing it could be his ultimate lifeline. Another student, still reeling from the lifespan deduction, frantically questions the system's logic. If he only has 9 years left and loses 10 upon death, wouldn't he instantly hit 0? He shouts that it must be a bug. Qin Chuan, exasperated, strikes the complaining student on the head, admonishing him to use his pig brain. He confirms the student's dire prognosis. 1 death means immediate demise. But then, Qin Chuan scoffs, calling him an idiot and declaring that they've all hit the jackpot. Qin Chuan explains that outside, lifespan is finite and irreversible. But within the academy, lifespan is a valuable resource, a currency to be earned by completing missions, gaining exchange points, and growing stronger. The revelation hangs heavy in the air, leaving one student to react with a bewildered as the sheer implications of the Academy's unique system begin to sink in. The male instructor's voice rings out, emphasizing that this academy isn't merely a school, but a formidable ladder offering a genuine chance to fundamentally change one's fate and gain immense power. Lady Hua, ever pragmatic, questions whether this unique system of lifespan and exchange points applies only within the academy's confines or extends its reach to the outside world. The instructor clarifies, stating that upon becoming a student, this law of exchange and lifespan immediately takes effect, applying universally as long as they remain on Earth. Cutting off any further questions, the instructor declares an end to the idle chatter, announcing that the entrance test is about to begin immediately. The students, including Miss Lin, look up in anticipation. With a raised hand, the instructor commands all prospective students to remain perfectly still, emphasizing no movement as the test preparations proceed. System notification appears, announcing the preparation for teleportation and the immediate start of a countdown. Lady Hua stands among the other students on the glowing platform as the system displays the number 3, marking the start of the teleportation countdown. Chun Fan watches intently, his expression serious, as the countdown progresses, the system displaying the number 2. A wave of vibrant purple energy engulfs the multitude of students as the system flashes 1, signaling the immediate teleportation of the entire group. The instructor sighs in disappointment, lamenting the absence of any truly gifted students in this batch, which he fears will negatively impact his advisor evaluation. He curses his misfortune, clearly frustrated by the perceived lack of talent among the new recruits, exclaiming, "What bad luck!" Suddenly, a boisterous laugh erupts from behind him, echoing through the now empty hall as another instructor approaches. A new male instructor, smoking a cigar, strides into the hall, jovially calling out Old Chin to his colleague. The cigar-smoking instructor confidently boasts about his Class 3, having secured 2 gifted students, 1 A rank and 1 B rank, before provocatively asking about Chin's results. Chin, clearly annoyed, retorts that his class boasts a genius with over 40 initial attribute points. However, his colleague dismisses high stats, asserting that true talent is paramount, citing rumors of a SS freshman from Eagle Nation last year. The cigar-smoking instructor waves off the rumor as debunked, stating there's no official record in the central database to support the existence of SS talents. Chun Fan and another student find themselves in an unfamiliar, rugged environment, both looking visibly shocked and apprehensive about their new surroundings. Chun Fan turns, his attention drawn to a glowing blue holographic panel materializing before him, displaying critical system information. Holographic panel details the entrance test, a mandatory quest to escape a goblin-infested forest within an hour for 10 credits and 100 exchange points, with optional quests to kill 5 goblins or even the Goblin King for additional rewards. Another system notification appears, announcing the issuance of a probationary student starter pack containing a random weapon with an open prompt. A friendly reminder flashes across the screen, alleviating immediate fears by clarifying that there is no death penalty for failing this particular test. Relief washes over the students as the system confirms no lifespan deduction for this test, eliciting exclamations of "That's great" from the relieved crowd. Chun Fan's eyes narrow, a spark of grim determination igniting within them as he fully comprehends the challenge ahead. With a powerful swing, Chun Fan slams his staff into the ground, unleashing a concentrated burst of purple energy that shatters the earth upon impact. A system notification informs Chun Fan that his current mana is insufficient to cast Energy Orb, but he quickly realizes that merely wielding the weapon grants him experience, increasing his basic staff mastery by 2 EXP, reaching level 1, 2 out of 100. Chun Fan, now wielding the staff, understands the true power of his SS rank top student talent. His passive bonus means his skill level up speed will be twice as fast as anyone else's. A sudden surge of discomfort washes over Chun Fan, the purple energy crackling near his ear as he lets out a pained ugh. Chun Fan clenches his teeth, realizing his current stats are too low and his mana bar is insufficient for sustained spellcasting. A system notification confirms his inability to cast Energy Orb. Observing another student, Chun Fan realizes a new path to power. He unlocks basic greatsword mastery by simply wielding the weapon, gaining 1 EXP with each swing. He muses that if even random swings grant experience, he could grind levels here before tackling the quest. However, Chun Fan quickly dismisses the idea of mindless grinding. He understands that, for most, there's a threshold before gaining experience, and the stamina drain from blind swinging would be immense. Chun Fan deduces that the quest's imposed time limit is a deliberate design choice, preventing players from simply resting and grinding in one spot. Chun Fan ponders his next move. Lady Hua approaches him, asking, "Classmate, want to trade weapons?" Lady Hua, though unfamiliar with games, understands that spells come with a cost, likely tied to mental power or mana, a concept she inferred from the intelligence stats revealed in the exam. With a confident smile, Chun Fan asks the woman if her name is Gau Kaa, then introduces himself, stating, "I'm Xiao Lin." Lady Hua, now addressing him as Xiao Lin, confirms her willingness to trade weapons. Chun Fan now grips a beginner dagger, feeling its balance in his hand. A system notification confirms he has obtained the dagger with a physical attack rating of F- and has unlocked basic dagger mastery at level 1. "Yeah, this feels much better in my hand," he exclaims. His new weapon, Chun Fan considers his next move, concluding that to pass the quest smoothly, it would be best to find a teammate. Chun Fan turns back to Lady Hua, calling her Gau Kaa, and begins to propose, "Do you want to maybe—" Before Chun Fan can finish his offer, Wang Dalin, the burly male student from earlier, abruptly interjects, asking, "Hey, team up?" Wang Dalin grins confidently at Lady Hua, proclaiming, "Hey, pretty girl, I heard your stats are the highest in our class." He boasts that his own strength, constitution, and agility are all over 10 points, urging her to team up with him. Wang Dalin continues his pitch, directly comparing himself to Chen Fan, saying, "Compared to that pretty boy over there, Wang Dalin, clearly give more of a sense of security, right? If we party up, we're guaranteed to pass." In the background, Chen Fan scoffs internally, thinking, "TCH, so what if your stats are high?" Lady Hua simply stares, her expression unreadable, offering no response to Wang Dalin's boast. From the sidelines, another male student snickers, "Got rejected," while a female student quickly tells him to keep your voice down. Wang Dalin's face contorts in a furious rage, his expression twisting with anger at the public rejection and mockery. Wang Dalin turns away, seething with barely contained fury, leaving Chen Fan to wonder what just happened. Suddenly, Wang Dalin lunges, grabbing Chen Fan's shirt collar and aggressively demanding, "Hey, what are you staring at?" Wang Dalin unleashes a torrent of insults, declaring he can't stand looking at trash whose stats are in the single digits like Chen Fan. He further berates Chen Fan, calling him dead weight and questioning his ability to even understand the weapons he's analyzing. Chen Fan calmly retorts, asserting that passing the test depends solely on one's own ability. He advises Wang Dalin to save his strength for the mission instead of picking fights. Enraged by Chen Fan's words, Wang Dalin tightens his grip, sneering, "Depends on ability? You?" He vows to show Chen Fan what true ability looks like right then and there. Chen Fan simply lets out a low, confident heh, a smirk playing on his lips. His smirk widens as Chen Fan declares, "Looks like you won't be getting that chance." Suddenly, Wang Dalin's eyes widen in terror as a grotesque, green, goblin-like monster materializes directly behind him, prompting a confused huh from the startled student. The grotesque goblin-like monster, with its long tongue and sharp claws, immediately strikes, its attack a blur of green energy slashing across Wang Dalin's back and drawing blood. Wang Dalin cries out, his face twisted in a grimace of pain and fury, realizing the brutal reality of the attack. Before Wang Dalin can recover, the monstrous goblin lunges forward once more, its sharp claws extended for another deadly strike. With a surge of desperate resolve, Wang Dalin activates an ability, his sword glowing with a faint green aura as he parries the goblin's next brutal assault. Standing over the fallen goblin, Wang Dalin pants heavily, exclaiming that he nearly met his end in the sudden ambush. Still agitated, Wang Dalin turns and points, angrily declaring that a mere goblin attempted to ambush him, as if questioning if someone dared to mock his predicament. Suddenly, Wang Dalin's expression shifts to confusion as he notices numerous glowing eyes peering from the surrounding darkness, hidden within the foliage. The unsettling realization dawns as a vast horde of goblins emerges from the shadows of the forest, their glowing eyes fixed on the trapped students. Panic erupts among the students as they scream in sheer terror, confronted by the overwhelming number of monstrous goblins. The chaos intensifies, filled with desperate screams and cries to go and get away as the students are overwhelmed by the sudden onslaught. Amidst the panic, one female student bravely attempts to fight back, swinging her sword against two attacking goblins, her movements a desperate blur. Another male student is brutally struck by a goblin's claws, blue system effects indicating a painful impact as blood trickles from his mouth. The battlefield is a scene of utter pandemonium, with students desperately fighting for their lives while others lie injured, surrounded by the relentless goblin horde. Chen Fan blocks a goblin's attack with his sword, a golden energy burst marking the impact, as he grimly acknowledges that the danger is undeniably real. The female student is struck from behind by a goblin, purple energy flares, and the sensations of smell and pain flood her senses, highlighting the brutal reality of the virtual world. Chen Fan's face, now marked with black splatters, shows fierce determination as he experiences the full touch of this brutal reality. Chen Fan's grip tightens on his sword, black energy effects swirling around his hand, signifying his readiness to engage in the deadly combat. The brutal reality of the situation settles in. While the environment is virtual data, all other sensations, including the pain and fear, are terrifyingly real. Chen Fan reflects that he was naive, realizing this is far from a mere game, and an inexperienced person with a weapon is still just a lamb to the slaughter. A male student urgently points towards a nearby cave, shouting that the goblins seem to avoid attacking those inside, and urges everyone to quickly hide within its safety. As students frantically rush past him towards the cave, Chen Fan glances back, his expression a mix of concern and determination. Chen Fan acknowledges that for the moment the cave offers safety, but a sense of foreboding hangs in the air, hinting that this refuge is only temporary. As other students retreat into the cave, a system notification appears, revealing a cave protection remaining time of 29 minutes and 38 seconds, confirming Chun Fan's silent apprehension. The grim truth resonates. The temporary safety of the cave won't stay safe forever. Chun Fan grips his sword tightly, mentally commanding himself to calm down, analyze the situation, to formulate a plan. With fierce resolve etched on his face, Chun Fan declares that he cannot simply sit idly by and wait for death to claim him. Chun Fan begins practicing his sword swings inside the cave, a blue energy trail following his blade, as a system notification confirms he gained basic short sword mastery EXP +2. Chun Fan reflects that experience points are only granted for standard movements executed with proper force. He laments his abysmal stats, Strength 2, Constitution 3, which are at the bottom of the barrel. Therefore, he concludes every strike must count, and he must familiarize himself with the weapon to increase his EXP before engaging in combat. As Chun Fan grappled with his meager stats and the need for precision, a stark system alert flashed. The cave protection was about to expire, leaving a mere 2 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. Panic erupted among the survivors. Voices cried out in despair, realizing only 2 minutes remained before their fragile sanctuary vanished. The cave itself, once a haven, was becoming a death trap. Mission felt impossible. Frantic survivors lamented that their ranged weapons were useless against the swift, unseen monsters. Fear and resignation spread through the group. Amidst the growing chaos, Lady Hua sat composedly against a cave wall, her gaze steady, a silent observer of the unfolding panic. Unfazed by the impending danger, Chun Fan relentlessly practiced his sword swings in the background, a sharp swish cutting through the air, while Lady Hua watched his determined movements. Sweat beaded on Chun Fan's brow as he pushed through his exhaustion, his focus absolute, every fiber of his being dedicated to mastering the blade. Lady Hua, observing Chun Fan's strenuous efforts, bluntly stated that his current actions were meaningless, a stark challenge to his relentless training. She elaborated, explaining that under normal circumstances, reaching level 2 would take approximately an hour, a luxury the mission's strict time limit simply did not afford. Chun Fan internally acknowledged Lady Hua's keen intellect as she confirmed her estimates. Indeed, reaching level 2 would typically require a full hour of grinding. Confident smirk played on Chun Fan's lips as he hinted at his secret advantage, the straight-A student buff, which was accelerating his progress. With a triumphant stance, Chun Fan revealed his basic short sword mastery was at level 1, 98 out of 100, declaring he was on the verge of level 2. Chun Fan thanked Lady Hua for her insight, but clarified that his intense practice was merely about getting a feel for the weapon, hinting at a deeper purpose beyond simple leveling. Shifting the conversation, Chun Fan then inquired if Lady Hua had gleaned any useful information from her observations of the goblins. Lady Hua looked surprised, asking if Chun Fan had been aware of her detailed observations all along. Chun Fan likened it to gaming, where one consults a guide before engaging a mob. Lady Hua curtly stated she didn't play games, to which Chun Fan dryly responded, "I can tell." Chun Fan shared his findings. The goblins possessed weak attack and defense, ranking them roughly F tier. He concluded that their vitals were the back of the head and heart, and a one-on-one fight wouldn't be difficult if fear was overcome. Further asserted that the mission itself wasn't inherently difficult. The true obstacle was the terror gripping the other survivors, who remained paralyzed by fear. A terrified female survivor huddled, tears streaming down her face, embodying the very fear Chun Fan described. He concluded that losing the courage to fight meant losing all hope of victory. Lady Hua brought the group back to reality, reminding them that with only 2 minutes left for the cave protection, it was time to venture out. Chun Fan nodded in agreement, stating that they couldn't simply focus on running away. A more proactive approach was necessary. As Chun Fan and Lady Hua began to move, a muscular, angry male survivor stepped forward, demanding to know where they were going. The male desperately tried to convince Lady Hua to team up with him, claiming their combined stats would ensure their survival, while dismissively labeling Chun Fan as trash and a liability. Lady Hua, however, had her sights set higher. She calmly stated that reaching the safe zone was not the true challenge. The biggest reward lay in defeating the Goblin King. The male exploded in anger, arguing that the Goblin King was merely an optional quest, and there was no sign of such a monster. He furiously questioned why Lady Hua was fixated on hidden quests when their very survival was at stake. Lady Hua remained unfazed, logically asserting that the mere existence of the quest implied its completion was possible. She theorized that its appearance depended on a trigger mechanism, such as time or the number of remaining survivors. She concluded her deduction, adding that the trigger could also be the total number of goblin kills. Chun Fan seamlessly picked up her line of thought, ruling out time, as the school wouldn't give them only minutes for a boss. He also dismissed the number of survivors, concluding that the kill count was the most likely trigger. The confident gesture, Chun Fan presented his final hypothesis. The boss would appear once a certain percentage of goblins were cleared. His explanation was abruptly cut short by a panicked voice. The terrified female survivor, clutching her bow, pleaded with them to simply finish the mission and questioned the logic of fighting a boss when the ordinary goblins were already horrifyingly strong. He reassures the hesitant survivor, emphasizing that death in this realm is not permanent, urging them to go all out. The other survivors begin to see the logic, with one male acknowledging it makes sense, another declaring they should do it, and the female archer adding that they have no other choice, as the cave will soon become unsafe. A muscular survivor scoffs, questioning why they would listen to a weakling like Chun Fan, boasting about his own starting stat of 32. Lady Hua calmly interjects, stating that 32 points are only slightly better than an average person, prompting the muscular survivor to furiously demand her stats. Adjusting her glasses, Lady Hua coolly reveals her impressive 46 points, then sharply tells the muscular survivor to quiet down. The muscular survivor's face contorts in shock and disbelief, beads of sweat forming on his brow as he processes Lady Hua's overwhelming power. The entire group stares in stunned silence at the glowing purple crystal, a clear indicator of Lady Hua's formidable abilities. Chun Fan, equally astonished, realizes Lady Hua's 46 points are more than 5 times his own. Lady Hua takes charge, declaring that anyone seeking rewards should follow her lead, emphasizing that only through unity can they maximize mission completion. She assigns the muscular survivor the frontline role, leveraging his high stats to draw goblin aggro, and he grudgingly agrees. Lady Hua instructs those with ranged weapons, like the female archer, to provide support from the rear, forming 3-person teams to cover each other and eliminate as many goblins as possible. Lady Hua then turns her attention to Chun Fan as she outlines the tactical plan. Chun Fan, with a knowing smirk and his sword at the ready, volunteers to handle harassment and finish off any escaping, low-health goblins, internally strategizing to avoid head-on combat due to his low stats. The group advances into the dungeon, a unified front now moving with purpose through the rocky terrain. The muscular survivor charges forward, unleashing a powerful sword swing at the goblins, bellowing for them to perish. From the back, the female archer and another male survivor draw their bows, aiming for critical shots. A goblin lets out a guttural roar as an arrow whizzes past, narrowly missing its target. Another goblin snarls, its eyes glowing menacingly as it lunges forward. The female archer expertly dodges a goblin's claw attack, letting out a sharp cry as she prepares a counter. Chun Fan moves with swift precision, his sword raised, ready to deliver a finishing blow to a goblin caught off guard. With a clean strike, Chun Fan slays the goblin, and a system notification confirms Goblin Kill X1. Female archer thanks Chun Fan, who internally confirms his strategy: avoid head-on combat, conserve stamina, and seize opportunities for the final blow. Chun Fan executes another precise strike, dispatching a second goblin as the system registers Goblin Kill X2. His movements are fluid and efficient. A third goblin falls, and the Goblin Kill X3 notification flashes. Another goblin collapses, its body sliced by Chun Fan's calculated attack. Chun Fan lands a fourth decisive hit, the system confirming Goblin Kill X4 as he continues his tactical approach. Observing Chun Fan's efficiency, a male survivor wonders if his low-stat strikes somehow connect when monsters are most vulnerable, while the muscular survivor dismisses it as mere luck and kill-stealing. Lady Hua, however, recognizes Chun Fan's true skill, noting that it's not luck but his consistent ability to avoid goblin line of sight and predict their movements. Chun Fan wipes his mouth as 2 system notifications appear: Basic Shortsword Mastery EXP +6 and Basic Shortsword Mastery Level Up, current level LV 24500s. Chun Fan reflects on his recent progress, realizing that his 2 months spent immersed in a VR game were instrumental in honing his precision, allowing him to execute his attacks with such impeccable timing. A sudden system notification flashes before Chun Fan, catching his attention with a surprised gasp. The system proudly announces a database check, confirming Chun Fan as the first freshman to achieve skill level 2. As per school policy, he is granted 1 free skill, perfectly matching his current abilities. New skill, Heavy/LV1, is unlocked for Chun Fan, manifesting as a powerful purple aura around him. The system details its requirements of Strength 1+, its compatibility with any melee weapon, and its effect, a potent charge strike with damage scaling to strength, though consecutive use drains stamina, recommending a 1-minute interval. Chun Fan clenches his fist, a confident grin spreading across his face. He celebrates his new level and skill, realizing he's just one goblin away from completing optional quest 1. With a powerful strike, Chun Fan pins down another goblin, a surge of blue energy emanating from his sword as he delivers the finishing blow. As Chun Fan dispatches the final goblin, a system notification confirms Goblin Kill X5 and the triumphant completion of optional quest 1. Chun Fan stands amidst the fallen foes, a sense of accomplishment washing over him as he acknowledges the completion of his quest. As the defeated goblins mysteriously vanish into blue particles, a bewildered man questions their sudden disappearance, while another, visibly agitated, demands to know what is happening. A series of system alerts buzzes through the area, announcing a 1/3 reduction in the goblin population. The cryptic message continues, revealing that a hidden condition has been met, triggering the activation of a boss-level threat. The ground trembles as an enormous, shadowy figure begins to emerge from the dense forest, its immense size dwarfing the trees as the system ominously proclaims the arrival of the Goblin King. The colossal Goblin King fully reveals itself, its horned, monstrous face and glowing yellow eyes radiating an intimidating aura under the ominous sky. Chun Fan stands his ground, sword in hand, gazing up at the towering form of the Goblin King, its sheer scale a daunting challenge. A vibrant splash art panel showcases various characters, some cloaked in dark, mystical energies, hinting at the diverse powers and individuals within this world. The Goblin King lets out a ferocious roar, its massive fangs and glowing eyes conveying immense power and aggression. The Goblin King unleashes a powerful, green-tinged roar, sending shockwaves of energy across the landscape. Amidst the chaos, an unknown female clutches her head in pain, exclaiming that the deafening roar of the monster is about to burst her eardrums. The same female warrior, her face contorted in distress, struggles to comprehend the overwhelming presence before her. Chun Fan and Lady Hua stand side by side, their expressions grim as they realize the true identity of the monstrous entity before them. The revelation is complete as the menacing face of the Goblin King fills the frame, confirming their terrifying opponent. Chun Fan's expression hardens as he observes the remaining goblins fading away, a clear sign that the boss battle has truly begun. A panicked survivor exclaims in disbelief, pointing out the Goblin King's impossibly long health bar, questioning how anyone could possibly fight such a terrifying monster. One of the men breaks ranks, declaring his surrender and abandoning the fight, prompting Chun Fan to angrily shout for him to stop running. Chun Fan, with a serious and focused expression, realizes a crucial tactical detail. These goblins possess a specific trait, a significantly small field of vision. He quickly deduces the counterpoint to their poor vision, noting that the goblin's sense of smell and hearing are, conversely, extremely keen. The goblin's keen senses are on full alert, its monstrous ear twitching and its glowing eye fixed on an unseen threat. As a massive goblin looms, ready to strike with its club, a terrified hunter realizes the recklessness of their companion's actions, knowing it will only draw the Goblin King's wrath. Elder Chun, fueled by a misguided confidence, rallies his group, roaring, "What the hell are you afraid of? We have numbers, we can pile on and kill it." Elder Chun leaps into the fray, his sword arcing down as he challenges the formidable goblin, shouting, "Big guy, take this blade." The goblin's eye flares with an ominous, yellow light, its gaze sharpening with predatory intent as it prepares to retaliate. Elder Chen's sword strikes true, embedding itself into the goblin's chest with a powerful, resounding impact. But the beast unleashes a devastating counterattack, a surge of raw energy erupting from the ground, tearing through rock and debris. Elder Chun is hurled backward by the force, screaming in agony as dark, corrosive energy erupts from his mouth, his weapon falling uselessly beside him. Elder Chun lies lifeless, his body dissolving into shimmering blue fragments, a stark testament to the goblin's overwhelming power as his comrades stare in horrified disbelief. Panic erupts among the remaining hunters as they scream and flee, realizing their leader, Wang Dalin, was just one shot. Another hunter's desperate scream of "ah" pierces the air, his face contorted in pure terror as the monstrous threat closes in. The colossal goblin brings its foot down with crushing force, stomping the screaming hunter into the ground. The hunter's body is utterly pulverized beneath the creature's immense weight, a sickening end to his desperate struggle. The Goblin King continues its brutal rampage, smashing its massive club into the earth, sending shockwaves and debris flying, further scattering the terrified survivors. Another female hunter is violently thrown through the air, caught in the devastating wake of the monster's assault, her body spinning helplessly. She crashes to the ground, barely able to look up in sheer terror as the monstrous goblin, club raised, casts a looming shadow over her. Lady Hua swiftly retreats, having landed a hit as a system notification reveals the goblin's health bar, now slightly diminished, confirming the effectiveness of her attack. Lady Hua clenches her jaw, a frustrated tsh escaping her lips as she realizes her strike wasn't as precise as she intended. Lady Hua, composed despite the chaos, internally asserts the critical need to target the monster's vitals, understanding that hitting the limbs causes damage fall-off. We have to hit the vitals. Lady Hua reflects on her initial strategy, thinking, according to my original plan, the others would hold off the Goblin King, while the other ranged attackers and I deal steady damage from the back. Her thoughts continue, lamenting the shattered formation. The initial plan relied on collective effort, believing as long as everyone works together, we should be able to kill the boss before we run out of mental power. But now the formation has scattered. Her internal monologue trails off, the weight of the failed strategy pressing down on her as she thinks, my plan. She gazes up at the towering, menacing Goblin King, its eyes glowing with malevolence, a grim realization dawning that her strategy was still too idealistic. Suddenly, Lady Hua snaps, her eyes wide with fury as she screams, "Are you an idiot? Run!" Just then, Chun Fan, his eyes blazing with a purple glow, lunges forward with a knife, directly engaging the colossal Goblin King, ignoring Lady Hua's desperate warning. Goblin King's eyes narrow into furious, glowing slits, its full attention now locked onto the audacious Chun Fan, who dares to challenge it head-on. Chun Fan deftly evades the Goblin King's devastating club swing, the immense weapons smashing into the ground beside him, sending tremors through the earth. Having narrowly evaded the Goblin King's devastating club swing, Chun Fan quickly analyzes the monster's movements, realizing he's just observed a crucial pattern. He quickly deduces the Goblin King's primary attack mechanic. It always prioritizes the closest target. Lady Hua points out that the other goblins have vanished, leaving only the king. Chun Fan, resolute, instructs her not to panic, telling her to draw its attention from a distance and harass it to create brief openings. Lady Hua, still a bit shaken, agrees to try and follow Chun Fan's tactical advice, knocking an arrow to her bow. Chun Fan then directs Lady Hua, acknowledging her high attack power, to find an opportunity to chip away at the Goblin King's health. Lady Hua confirms her understanding. Lady Hua unleashes a barrage of attacks, purple energy blasts and arrows striking the Goblin King, eliciting a pained grunt from the monster. The Goblin King's massive club slams into the earth, but Lady Hua observes with satisfaction that their coordinated attacks appear to be working, causing visible damage. Chun Fan gives a confident nod, encouraging Lady Hua to maintain the pressure, his eyes sharp and focused on the battle. Enraged by the continuous assault, the Goblin King lets out a thunderous roar, its fury echoing across the battlefield. Goblin King's monstrous face contorts in a snarl, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent as it prepares a counterattack. With a guttural growl, the Goblin King clenches its fists, channeling dark purple energy as it prepares to unleash a devastating skill. The Goblin King unleashes a powerful shockwave, a torrent of green and teal energy erupting outwards, shattering the ground and sending debris flying. Chun Fan shouts a warning, but it's too late. Lady Hua is caught in the shockwave, thrown backward as blue energy crackles around her, letting out a cry of pain. The Goblin King stands triumphant amidst the shattered earth, its menacing presence dominating the battlefield after its powerful counterattack. Lady Hua, sweat beading on her brow, expresses her concern, asking Chun Fan if they still stand a chance against the formidable foe, now that it's just the two of them. Chun Fan, a confident smirk playing on his lips, inquires about Lady Hua's remaining magic power, specifically if she has enough for a few more energy blasts. Lady Hua responds, her expression grim, stating that she can unleash 2 more energy blasts at most before her magic is depleted. Chun Fan reassures her that 2 blasts are enough, explaining that a single headshot would deal critical damage. Lady Hua counters, expressing concern that the Goblin King moves too fast for her accuracy. With a determined smirk, Chun Fan declares his intention to stop the Goblin King's rapid movements, implying a strategy to immobilize the beast. Chun Fan's eyes glow with an intense purple light as he activates his Scholar skill, a powerful aura enveloping him. His activated Scholar skill immediately analyzes the Goblin King's abilities, detecting its Shockwave skill and revealing its effects, impact damage within a 5-meter radius and a 3-second stun. As he steps forward, a wave of purple energy radiating from him, Chun Fan reflects on his past, a time when his talent was deemed useless and he was dismissed as trash. Now, empowered and determined, Chun Fan declares that it is finally his turn to dominate the battlefield, lunging forward with a surge of purple energy. Chun Fan stands tall, a vortex of potent purple energy swirling around him, the shadowy, monstrous form of the Goblin King looming menacingly in the background as he prepares for a decisive strike. His eyes blazing with fierce purple energy, Chun Fan's expression is one of absolute resolve, ready to unleash his full power against the Goblin King. The colossal Goblin King, its form radiating dark energy, prepares to unleash its devastating shockwave skill, raising its weapon high. Meanwhile, Chun Fan charges forward, engulfed in swirling purple energy, meeting the monstrous foe head-on. Chun Fan's eyes blaze with fierce purple energy as he realizes the Goblin King's shockwave is triggered by hammering its weapon into the ground. He plans to activate his copied version of the skill by slamming his own weapon, knowing their height difference demands a quicker windup. With a flash of resolve in his purple glowing eye, Chun Fan activates his ability. A system notification confirms skill activated, copy, shockwave, F. A blinding burst of green energy erupts as Chun Fan's sword clashes directly with the Goblin King's massive fist, a powerful impact point that reverberates with raw force. The clash intensifies, creating a massive explosion of purple and green energy. Chun Fan realizes that since the Goblin King's attack is a skill, it can be interrupted, a critical insight that changes the tide of battle. Goblin King recoils, its monstrous face contorted in a surprised grimace as the force of Chun Fan's counterattack disrupts its own powerful skill, sending ripples of energy outward. Chun Fan stands firm, his strategy proving correct as the Goblin King stumbles back, its attack successfully interrupted. White energy trails swirl around them, marking the disruption. A close-up reveals Chun Fan's determined expression, a slight smirk playing on his lips, sweat beading on his brow as he grips his sword, confirming his successful gamble. As the Goblin King recovers, Chun Fan notes the limitation of his copied skill. He cannot chain shockwaves, as it has a 30-second cooldown. A system box appears, showing Copy Shockwave F cooling down 22s. A blinding purple explosion erupts, marked by a critical hit, engulfing the area as Chun Fan's shockwave skill unleashes its full destructive power. The Goblin King is violently thrown backward by the force of the blast, its red health bar visible above its head, indicating significant damage. Chun Fan remains steadfast amidst the dissipating energy. Lady Hua, clutching her staff, expresses her shock and concern, wondering how Chun Fan, with his current stats, managed to interrupt the Goblin King's powerful skill, while also noting she can't hold on much longer. Close inspection reveals the Goblin King's arm, now severely cracked and damaged, with its red health bar still prominently displayed, showing the toll of Chun Fan's attack. A system notification box updates the cooldown status. Copy Shockwave F cooling down 16s. The Goblin King retaliates, preparing to smash Chun Fan with a massive rock. Chun Fan realizes he is too close and cannot fully dodge the impending hit, bracing for the impact. With a dangerous glint in his glowing eyes and a determined smirk, Chun Fan decides on a bold counter-strategy, declaring he simply won't dodge the attack. Chun Fan stands his ground, raising his sword to meet the Goblin King's attack head-on. Blue energy cubes materialize around his arm, a defiant shield against the incoming blow. Lady Hua cries out in alarm, her face contorted in distress as she witnesses Chun Fan's dangerous decision to endure the Goblin King's attack directly. Emerging from the smoke, Chun Fan reassures Lady Hua that he is fine, despite the impact. Blue energy cubes still shimmer around his arm as a system notification shows Copy Shockwave F cooling down 10s. The Goblin King roars in fury, while Chun Fan internally notes that his shockwave skill won't reach if he's too far. The cooldown updates to Copy Shockwave F cooling down 7s. With blue energy still crackling on his arm, Chun Fan dives, expertly dodging under the Goblin King's massive arm, determined to position himself directly beneath its center of mass for a decisive strike. Chun Fan's sword gleams, poised and ready, reflecting the intense focus of the battle as he prepares to unleash his next attack. Bathed in furious purple energy, Chun Fan slams his sword into the ground with a defiant shout. A system notification flashes, skill cooldown finished, signaling the immediate reactivation of his shockwave. A system notification confirms the successful execution. Skill activated. Copy Shockwave F. A devastating purple shockwave erupts, engulfing the Goblin King entirely. Its body cracks under the immense pressure, taking the full, unmitigated force of Chun Fan's attack. Chun Fan lets out an intense cry, his face contorted with the sheer effort and power he pours into the final, overwhelming attack, purple energy radiating from his form. With a final, decisive blow, Chun Fan's sword pierces directly through the Goblin King's chest, triggering a colossal purple energy explosion that seals its fate. Lady Hua watches with a worried expression, her hand gripping her staff tightly as the dramatic climax of the battle unfolds before her. The mighty Goblin King disintegrates into countless blue energy cubes and swirling purple smoke, its form dissolving into nothingness, signifying its complete annihilation. Chun Fan stands victorious amidst the dissipating remnants of his foe. 2 system notifications confirm the triumph. Goblin King has been slain, and optional quest 2 complete, marking a decisive victory. Chun Fan, utterly spent, watches his sword embedded in the ground, the last wisps of battle energy fading around him. He exhales, a single thought echoing in his mind. Finally, it's down. His face, streaked with sweat, betrays the immense effort. He internally muses on the quest's unexpected difficulty, realizing this was just the safe zone quest. Lady Hua stares in wide-eyed shock, her expression a mix of alarm and concern at the raw power unleashed. Scene shifts to a high-tech meeting room where an executive addresses his colleagues, asking if they've reviewed your class's freshman test results, right? The head of the admissions department, a man with a cigar, takes center stage, stating he will provide a brief summary. He reveals the academy admitted 1,350 students across 12 classes, with entrance test ratings as follows: 560 F rank, 450 D rank, 200 C rank, 83 B rank, and 52 A rank. He continues, dropping a bombshell, and a total of 15 students achieved an S-rank rating. The revelation causes a stir among the other faculty members. A female faculty member exclaims in disbelief, reminding them that to get S-rank, one must complete all 3 quests and survive. Her male colleague adds, "This year's freshmen are that strong? Did we get a bunch of gifted students, or what?" One male instructor smirks, boasting that our class alone has 2 gifted students. The woman beside him, however, admits their 2 gifted students are both B rank. The admissions head, satisfied, reveals the final verified count. After verification, there are a total of 13 gifted students among this year's freshmen. He commends everyone, stating it's the highest rookie quality in nearly a decade. One instructor, looking utterly defeated, laments his class's misfortune, wondering, just our luck. Are we seriously the only class with no gifted students? The admissions head turns to the dejected instructor, stating that despite having no gifted students, his class 7 still managed to set 2 school records. The instructor responds with a bewildered, "Huh?" The admissions head, a sly grin forming, holds up a finger and announces the first record. You have the first class in school history where 2 non-gifted students both received S-rank ratings. He continues, revealing the second record, and second, you've set a new Dawn Academy record for the highest intelligence stat among freshmen. The admissions head then adds a final, ironic twist, revealing that Class 7 also holds the record for the lowest combined attributes on record, leaving the instructor visibly infuriated. The admissions head elaborates, displaying holographic stat readouts for Chun Fan and Lady Hua. He explains the best part is how these 2 S-rank students, despite being in the same class, hold completely opposite records, noting even the principal found it amusing. Chun Fan, now fully recovered, stands in disbelief, exclaiming, "I'm alive. I actually survived." He then notices his wounds are gone, questioning, My wounds are gone." A system notification pops up, displaying a student's quest completion details, reaching the safe zone, killing 5 goblins, and slaying the Goblin King, all marked complete. The overall rating is an S, granting 40 credits and 800 exchange points. Chun Fan examines his own holographic quest status, noting, the first quest is marked complete. I remember blacking out back then. Chun Fan turns to Lady Hua, who stands enveloped in a powerful blue aura. He realizes, so it was her. She carried me to the safe zone after I passed out? Suddenly, a female student with a high ponytail waves excitedly at Chun Fan, calling out, "X Xiao Lin." The grateful student, Xiao Lin, clasps her hands, profusely thanking Chun Fan and Gu Xiaoya, stating, "Without you two, there's no way I would have gotten an A rating." Xiao Lin reflects on her own performance, admitting, "I was totally useless in the end, still got killed by the boss's AoE." She then eagerly asks Chun Fan, "Did you guys manage to kill the Goblin King after that?" Chun Fan smirks, confirming, "Yeah, we did." Xiao Lin pumps her fist in excitement, exclaiming, "I knew it. I knew you two could do it." Behind Chun Fan, Elder Chun watches the interaction, his face etched with a familiar scowl of disapproval. Elder Chun seethes, muttering, "Pure dumb luck. If he hadn't latched onto Gu Xiaoya's thigh, someone with his stats would have died 800 times over by now." As Lady Hua approaches, she calmly calls out, "Xiao Lin." Lady Hua looks directly at Chun Fan, her expression serious as she states, "About that battle just now, I'd like to talk to you alone." Advertisement content. Chun Fan unleashes a surge of raw power, purple energy crackling around his hand as a colossal, shadowy dragon-like entity manifests behind him, its eyes glowing with malevolent intent. After the intense battle, Chun Fan and Lady Hua stand in a quiet, secluded corner, the tension of the recent mission still lingering in the air. Chun Fan expresses his gratitude for Lady Hua's assistance during the Safe Zone mission, but she coolly dismisses it as a matter of mutual benefit aimed at maximizing their rewards. Lady Hua adjusts her glasses, acknowledging Chun Fan's crucial role in interrupting the Goblin King's skill, which created the opening she needed to deliver the finishing blow. Chun Fan observes Lady Hua with a thoughtful expression, musing internally on her uncanny ability to calculate every detail with such precision. Lady Hua then points out that Chun Fan's attributes should have made it impossible for him to interrupt a boss skill, but quickly assures him she won't pry into his secrets and will keep them confidential if anyone asks. Chun Fan offers a small, appreciative smile, thanking Lady Hua for her understanding and discretion. Lady Hua reveals that the smart brain system in their nameplates has a communication function, suggesting they add each other as friends for easier contact later, to which Chun Fan readily agrees. Lady Hua instructs Chun Fan to simply think smart brain silently to bring up the basic panel, demonstrating the system's intuitive interface. Both Chun Fan and Lady Hua activate their smart brain systems, their faces illuminated by the faint glow of holographic interfaces. Lady Hua inquires about Chun Fan's student ID, and he promptly replies with 201,235 as blue holographic panels flicker between them. A holographic notification appears before Chun Fan, displaying a friend request from Gu Xiaoya, student ID 201,107, prompting him to accept. Chun Fan's finger swiftly moves to press the accept button on the holographic interface, confirming the friend request as the system displays a success message. Suddenly, a male instructor bellows, ordering everyone who opted into the entrance test to immediately assemble at the entrance. The instructor continues to shout, directing everyone else to open their smart brain map navigation and proceed to the central playground, emphasizing the urgency. As the crowd disperses, the instructor glances back, his eyes briefly falling on Chun Fan and Lady Hua, who remain in their spot. The instructor then specifically calls out to Gu Xiaoya, Lady Hua, asking her to come over for a moment, to which she calmly agrees. Chun Fan activates his map, mentally calculating his route to the playground, noting that he needs to cross the atrium from the public classroom area. Chun Fan observes the instructor with Lady Hua, pondering whether the instructor sought her out due to her S-rank evaluation, or if he had noticed something else about her. As more people gather on the vast playground, Chun Fan internally questions if such a large number of individuals disappearing at once wouldn't cause a significant commotion. Lady Hua turns to Chun Fan and, noticing his preoccupied expression, asks if he is all right. He quickly assures her that he hasn't inadvertently vocalized any private thoughts. Amidst the growing crowd, shouts of "Move" and "Get out of the way" echo, urging students to clear a path. An authoritative voice commands the students to line up by class and avoid crowding together, establishing order among the new recruits. Students gather on the green field, looking up towards a podium where a figure stands, ready to address them. A young man with light blue hair, identified as the Student Union President, greets the new students with a welcoming smile. Student Union President informs the assembly that the principal will be late but extends a formal welcome to all new students on behalf of the academy. Suddenly, a thunderous roar rips through the air, startling Chun Fan and causing him to flinch, his eyes widening in alarm. A collective gasp and shouts of surprise erupt from the crowd as fear grips the faces of the students, including Chun Fan and Lady Hua. Above them, a colossal, dark dragon-like creature with glowing purple eyes and radiating dark energy lets out another terrifying roar, its immense form dominating the sky. Chun Fan looks up in utter disbelief, his mind reeling as he exclaims, realizing that a real dragon has just appeared before their very eyes. The monstrous visage of the dragon fills their vision, its glowing purple eyes burning with raw power as Chun Fan's mind screams the undeniable truth. It's a dragon, a real, genuine dragon. Lady Hua is paralyzed, an instinctive, biological terror seizing her very being. She struggles, but the immense pressure holds her captive, leaving her unable to move an inch. The colossal dragon, with a figure casually seated upon its back, descends dramatically into the training grounds, its massive wings casting a formidable shadow over the bewildered students below. From atop the formidable beast, the mysterious figure speaks, a casual apology for his tardiness. "Sorry, kids. I was taking care of some things on the way." The elderly man with the commanding presence, now revealed as the principal of Dawn Academy, remarks with a hint of amusement, "Almost late." A blue-haired student approaches the principal, commenting on the extravagant entrance. "Principal, this entrance ceremony is a bit too grand, isn't it?" The principal scoffs, his irritation clear. "Grand, my ass. You think I'm riding this big lizard just to show off?" The principal explains his dramatic arrival, stating he was short on time returning from over there and had to use the dragon for transport. He then sternly warns the massive creature, threatening to skin it and turn it into a sofa if it dares to scare his students again. Chun Fan observes the principal, his thoughts turning inward as he realizes this man holds the unique authority to view his hidden scholar talent. Principal addresses the assembled freshmen, acknowledging their potential. I've seen the entrance test scores for this batch of freshmen. Your talents are quite good. A piercing blue eye, sharp and discerning, gleams with an ancient wisdom, hinting at the depths of the principal's true power. Chun Fan's eyes widen slightly in surprise, an unspoken exclamation marking his sudden realization. A blade pierces the earth, activating a potent magic circle that pulses with vibrant purple energy, signifying amplification magic. The principal continues, acknowledging the students' frustration at their unusual recruitment. He states that while tradition dictates he introduce himself, he believes their immediate concerns lie elsewhere. With a theatrical gesture, the principal deflects blame, humorously pointing to a nearby male student in a suit and declaring that any grievances about their ungodly hour invitations should be directed at the admissions department. Principal promises a new rule, stating that admissions must happen during the day, as dragging people around in the middle of the night is simply bad luck. Shifting his demeanor, the principal becomes serious, preparing to address the two most pressing questions on everyone's minds. Who are we, and what are we doing? With an imposing stance, surrounded by crackling purple energy, the principal declares their true nature to the children from the old world. We are colonizers. The vast, cosmic expanse of planet Norma, also known as the New World, unfolds before them, teeming with unknown creatures and boundless possibilities. Amidst a swirling vortex of red and purple energy, Chun Fan stands resolute, a formidable, shadowy, dragon-like entity manifesting behind him, a testament to his burgeoning power. The principal emphasizes the gravity of their situation, stating that their ordinary, by-the-book lives ended the very moment they tore open their acceptance letters. The principal gestures grandly, conjuring an image of a formidable warrior on horseback, declaring that some of them will rise to become generals, leading armies and expanding territories. Continues, revealing another path. Some will emerge as grand mages, delving into profound truths and commanding the very laws of existence. The principal pauses, the purple energy swirling ominously as he builds anticipation for the ultimate revelation. Or even, he concludes, presenting the most ambitious destiny, to become leaders, kings who will set the rules and govern the new land itself. The principal's voice rings out, promising power, knowledge, authority, and even immortality. He assures them that every treasure the new world holds will open its doors to them. Finally, the principal raises a finger, announcing a new, crucial regulation. According to old tradition, freshmen are strictly forbidden from entering the new world. However, the principal abruptly changes course, declaring that the top 3 students in the first-year comprehensive exam will now be granted early entry into the new world. A blue-haired advisor immediately protests, citing freshman safety concerns and pleading for reconsideration. The principal silences the objection with a piercing, warning gaze, his blue eye narrowing with an undeniable authority. Faced with the principal's stern disapproval, the blue-haired advisor immediately backs down, his face contorted in fear as he meekly admits, "I misspoke." The matter settled, the principal dismisses the gathering with a curt, "All right, enough talk." Dismissed. The blue-haired advisor promptly responds, "Yes, sir," and prepares to leave. Chun Fan observes the scene, internally questioning the principal's extreme reaction and wondering if the new rule hides a darker truth. Nevertheless, he reaffirms his immediate goal, to maximize the academy's resources and rapidly strengthen himself. As students disperse, Chun Fan hears a voice call out, "Hey, you there, Shaolin, stay behind." He turns, recognizing the voice. Chun Fan identifies the approaching figure as Advisor Chin, asking him, "Advisor Chin, what's up?" Chun Fan looks at Advisor Chin with a questioning expression, prompting him with a simple, "So?" Advisor Chin points directly at Chun Fan, declaring, "So the position falls to you." He then explains that being class president comes with extra credits, resource quotas, and certain privileges. Advisor Chin emphasizes the lifeline this position offers to someone at the bottom, like Chun Fan, warning that it's re-elected after 3 months. A system notification confirms Chun Fan's appointment as acting class president of first-year Class 7. With his instructions delivered, Advisor Chin turns and walks away, waving dismissively as he tells Chun Fan the freshman handbook will be sent directly to his brain for him to read. Chun Fan stands alone, contemplating the unexpected new role and the privileges Advisor Chin mentioned. Transitioning to the student dormitory, a towering, modern building stands under a clear sky, with a partial note about the doors locking at 7 p.m. Inside, Chun Fan checks in with a female attendant. She sternly explains the dormitory rules. Doors lock at 7 p.m., open at 6 a.m., and not returning overnight results in docked credits. Chun Fan confirms with a simple, clear. The female attendant pauses, her expression shifting to one of mild curiosity as she looks at Chun Fan and utters a questioning "HM." Her curiosity quickly turns to excitement as she realizes, "Oh my, Junior, you're a class president among this year's freshmen. Impressive, impressive." Chun Fan, slightly embarrassed, clarifies, "Just acting president. I was forced into it." Her enthusiasm explodes as she grabs Chun Fan's arm, insisting, "Don't be modest. Anyone who becomes class president is no ordinary person." She then eagerly offers, "Come, let this senior personally take you to get your supplies and pick a room." Chun Fan internally notes her surprisingly swift change of attitude. The attendant hands Chun Fan a dark uniform jacket, explaining the color coding. "Here, your uniform. Colors are by year. We sophomores wear blue, you freshmen wear green." She leads him into a spacious, single room, proudly announcing, "This is your room, a single reserved for acting class presidents." She adds that regular freshmen get doubles, to which Chun Fan reacts with a surprised, "Wow." She then hands Chun Fan a golden ID plate, instructing him, "Your ID plate handles curfew, purchases, class sign-ins, don't lose it." Introducing herself as Zhang Tingting, she winks and offers to add Chun Fan, assuring him she's available anytime for help with academics or campus life. Chun Fan politely replies, "Sure, thanks, senior." As Chun Fan departs, Zhang Tingting waves goodbye, reminding him to make sure you pick your classes carefully. "Class President Junior." Chun Fan acknowledges, "Will do. See you, senior." Chun Fan reflects on Zhang Tingting's sudden enthusiasm, realizing it stemmed from his new title. He deduces this is directly linked to the privileges advisor Qinchuan had mentioned earlier. Standing in his new room, Chun Fan observes the clear class divisions within the school, where everything hinges on strength. He decides his first priority is course selection. Chun Fan initiates open course selection, revealing a vast array of choices including basic swordsmanship, basic blade techniques, basic fist fighting, and basic physical training, among others. The list continues with basic parry, basic evasion, and mandatory courses like History of the World of Norma. Overwhelmed, Chun Fan exclaims in his thoughts, "There are way too many." Chun Fan calms himself, mentally outlining his requirements. Mandatory courses, 1 basic combat course, and 3 secondary attribute courses. He reminds himself to stay calm, relying on his top student talent. He acknowledges his attributes are a fatal weakness that needs immediate improvement. Chun Fan recognizes his passive doubled learning efficiency from the top student ability as his greatest advantage, determined not to waste it. Chun Fan begins making his choices, deciding on basic swordsmanship for combat due to its ease of learning and versatility. He then considers basic physical training for survivability and basic meditation to boost mental power and focus. Chun Fan finalizes his selections, confirming basic swordsmanship for versatile combat, basic physical training for enhanced durability, and basic meditation to sharpen his mind. He muses that in this new world, strength is truly everything. Next day, Chun Fan arrives at the basic swordsmanship training grounds, ready to put his chosen skills to the test. The training grounds echo with the sharp exhalations of students vigorously swinging their practice swords, a symphony of effort and determination. Chun Fan delivers a powerful strike to a wooden log, the impact resonating as the system registers basic swordsmanship EXP +2. As Chun Fan practices, a system overlay highlights the critical power points in his body, reminding him that for longsword strikes, power originates from the waist, not the wrist. His talent, top student passive skill, doubles his learning efficiency. With fierce concentration, Chun Fan internalizes the technique, realizing that mastering these key points will allow him to move with even greater speed and precision. A system notification erupts, announcing basic swordsmanship level up, current level LV.3 foot. Chun Fan notes his rapid progression, reaching LV.3 in just an hour, twice as fast as others, confirming his strategy of skill leveling driving attribute growth is correct. Elsewhere on the training grounds, a student collapses in exhaustion, lamenting that he can no longer continue, his arms feeling as if they might fall off. Another student grumbles, observing the struggling freshmen and thinking they are worse than imagined, questioning their audacity to take this class with such low skill levels. A stern woman with vibrant pink hair, identified by the system as Chung Na, third-year student substitute basic swordsmanship instructor, declares that no one will leave until their basic swordsmanship proficiency reaches level 3. The students respond meekly, while one cries out in despair, regretting his choice of swordsmanship and labeling the instructor a demon for her harsh demands. Female student, visibly sweating, complains that reaching level 2 requires non-stop swinging for 3 or 4 hours, an impossible feat for mere humans. Chen Fan, unfazed by the general despair, calmly addresses Instructor Chung, drawing her attention. Chen Fan confidently states that his basic swordsmanship skill has already reached the required level 3. He then requests permission to leave early for his next class, Basic Meditation, which is about to begin. Instructor Cheng's expression shifts to one of skepticism, a subtle smirk playing on her lips as she regards Chen Fan. She confronts Chen Fan, incredulous that on the very first day of school, after less than 2 hours, he claims to have trained basic swordsmanship to level 3. Her tone is laced with suspicion, questioning if he is making a joke. A vivid memory or vision flashes. Chen Fan, cloaked in a white lab coat, stands amidst swirling purple energy, a monstrous red entity looming behind him, hinting at a hidden power. Instructor Chung, dismissing Chen Fan's claim, addresses him as Xiao Lin, mocking his past as a lucky one with single-digit stats who supposedly scraped an S rating off the backs of his teammates. She demands he come up with a decent excuse if he wants to skip class. Her eyes narrow, challenging Chen Fan. She asks if he truly believes she's a novice at teaching freshmen, her gaze radiating disbelief. Chen Fan remains composed, asserting that the system's data panel can confirm his skill level. He invites her to check it if she doubts his words. Instructor Chung responds with a dismissive heh. Data, her tone dripping with disdain for mere numerical proof. A sly, dangerous smile spreads across Instructor Cheng's face, a hint of her true intentions surfacing. System alert flashes. Warning, substitute instructor Chung Na has requested activation of advanced teaching authority. Instructor Chung stands, enveloped in a swirling purple aura, a powerful shift in the atmosphere. Another system notification blares. Full discipline combat simulation field is about to open. All students, please get ready. The ground shatters as skeletal figures begin to emerge, glowing with ominous purple energy. Chen Fan reacts with a startled expression, gripping his sword tightly as the skeletal adversaries materialize around him, the simulation field now fully active. Instructor Chung, now clad in combat armor and wielding a glowing sword, declares her intention to witness Chen Fan's skills in a real fight rather than relying on mere data. Instructor Chung reveals the nature of their current location, a formidable training space forged by stripping the very laws from the world of Norma, consuming astronomical resources to construct the ultimate proving ground. She reassures Chen Fan, stating that he won't truly die within this simulated environment. But the warning is swift. Every sensation, every pain will be 100% real. Activating the entire simulation field consumes an enormous amount of exchange points, a clear sign that Instructor Chung is going all out for this trial. From the ethereal purple ground, skeletal warriors begin to rise, their forms coalescing with malevolent energy. Instructor Chung challenges Chen Fan, demanding he prove his level 3 basic swordsmanship in a real fight against the summoned horde. From her throne of power, Instructor Chung explains that these skeletal soldiers possess roughly the same strength as the goblins Chen Fan faced during his entrance exam. She sweetens the deal, promising Chen Fan early release from the dungeon and the privilege to leave her class early anytime he wishes, should he clear it. A system notification flashes, revealing the dungeon objectives for the undead crypt: survive for 40 minutes or slay 20 skeletal soldiers. Either path leads to victory. The menacing form of a skeletal soldier looms, its armor glowing with dark energy. Internally, Chen Fan is aghast, questioning Instructor Cheng's sanity for casually opening such a dangerous dungeon just to verify a freshman's level. He concludes she is completely insane. With a swift motion, Chen Fan obtains an iron dagger, its system prompt revealing an E-rank physical attack rating. As the skeletal warriors advance, Chen Fan quickly assesses his options, realizing there are only 2 ways to clear this dungeon. His first thought is to stall for time, enduring the onslaught for the duration. Or he could choose the more direct, aggressive approach, to kill his way through the entire horde. A skeletal warrior lunges, its bladed weapon arcing through the air with deadly intent. Its bony leg pivots, demonstrating surprising agility for an undead foe. The burst of blue energy, Chen Fan strikes true, cleaving through a skeletal soldier. A system notification confirms the first kill, 1 down, 19 to go. Chen Fan calculates, realizing he needs to target the weak points, requiring an average of 2 precise hits to fell each skeletal warrior. The math is grim. 20 skeletal soldiers, each requiring 2 hits, means Chen Fan needs to land a total of 40 strikes to clear the dungeon. From her vantage point, Instructor Chung observes Chen Fan's aggressive stance, surprised that he's choosing to engage directly. She had expected him to panic, to beg her to shut down the dungeon, but Chen Fan's resolve is proving her wrong. Instructor Chung mentally praises his technique, noting that his footwork, force, and strike angles are surprisingly proficient. His movements are clean, his reads accurate, a testament to genuine skill. She acknowledges his superior combat prowess compared to others, but laments the critical flaw. His base stats are absolutely abysmal. A realization dawns on Instructor Chung. Could Chen Fan have specifically enrolled in both swordsmanship and meditation classes solely to buff his otherwise pitiful base stats? He muses that while his ambition is admirable, the human body has its limits, suggesting his strategy might be unsustainable. Despite his exhaustion, Chen Fan has managed to slay 13 of the 20 skeletal soldiers, with 28 minutes remaining on the clock. A sharp cry of ugh escapes Chen Fan as a skeletal warrior lands a painful blow, finally breaking through his defenses. Instructor Chung watches, a smirk playing on her lips, believing it was about time Chen Fan faced the harsh reality of his limitations. Unfazed by the taunts of the skeletal warrior, Chen Fan prepares his stance, his grip firm on the sword. The enemy's mocking voice echoes, warning him to be a good boy and surrender. The surge of power, Chen Fan unleashes heavy strike slash at level 1. His blade glows with potent purple energy, cleaving through the skeletal ranks with devastating force. The powerful slash continues its trajectory, leaving a trail of destruction. A system notification flashes, confirming the rapid elimination of the skeletal soldiers, now at 16 out of 20. Miss Lin, witnessing the sudden skill activation, gasps in disbelief. She questions aloud how Chen Fan could possess such a powerful skill as heavy strike slash. Chen Fan presses his assault, each swing a deadly blur. System messages pop up relentlessly. 17, 18, and then 19 skeletal soldiers slain as the last remaining enemies crumble. With a final, decisive blow, Chen Fan plunges his sword into the last skeletal soldier. The system confirms his triumph. Skeletal soldiers slain, 20/20ths. Breathing heavily, Chen Fan struggles to regain his composure after the intense battle. Miss Lin watches him, her expression a mix of awe and concern. Still panting, Chen Fan forces a weak smile, addressing Miss Lin. He manages to utter that he has fulfilled her requirement. His voice barely a whisper, Chen Fan confirms his success, having completed the daunting task set before him. Miss Lin stares down at the exhausted Chen Fan, her mind racing. She questions what kind of person he truly is, unable to believe his S-rank was merely a stroke of luck. The scene shifts to the student council office, where a female student council member presents files to the student council president, announcing the completion of compiling S-rank and A-rank freshman records. After the student council president acknowledges her work, the student council member informs him that there's a particular course schedule he should review. Student council president looks intrigued, asking if something is amiss with the schedule, as the student council member seems hesitant. The student council member reveals that one freshman, named Xiao Lin, has made an exceptionally strange course selection, hinting at an unusual academic path. Chen Fan stands amidst a swirling vortex of purple and red energy, a powerful, almost demonic presence looming behind him. His eyes glow with an intense, focused determination, showcasing a hidden power. Scene transitions to the Dawn Academy Infirmary at 12:04 p.m. A male voice complains that he didn't mean to hurt Chen Fan and explains he was in class, while another voice scolds Miss Lin for her harsh treatment of freshmen. Miss Lin, with a defiant stance, challenges the male student, asking if he has a problem with her teaching methods. The student council president tries to placate Miss Lin, explaining that he merely meant she didn't have to be so hardcore with the newly enrolled freshman, as Chen Fan lies unconscious in the bed. Miss Lin, unyielding, asserts that coddling the students is the true cruelty, her gaze fixed on the unconscious Chen Fan. The student council president remains silent, a thoughtful expression on his face, considering Miss Lin's words. Miss Lin turns her head slightly, a subtle smirk playing on her lips, her eyes obscured by shadow, hinting at her true intentions or satisfaction. Chen Fan stirs awake in the infirmary bed, groaning softly as he slowly regains consciousness. The student council president exclaims with relief that Chen Fan is finally awake, as both he and Miss Lin lean over the bed, observing him. Chen Fan, still disoriented, questions if he is in the infirmary. The student council president confirms it, assuring him of the academy's top-notch facilities. The student council president, with a friendly smile, expresses his concern for Chen Fan, having heard he passed out from sheer exhaustion, and asks about his current condition. Chen Fan replies that he feels much better, though his muscles are still a bit sore. The student council president reassures him that with rest, he will be fine. The student council president gives a subtle, knowing smile as he concludes their conversation, leaving Chen Fan to recover. The student council president, with a calm demeanor, dismisses Nana, stating his desire to speak with Chun Fan privately. Nana, taken aback, protests loudly, demanding to know why she must leave. With a disgruntled humph, Nana reluctantly agrees to depart, casting a final annoyed glance as she walks away, leaving Chun Fan on the bed and the student council president seated. Nana's high-heeled boot abruptly halts, a sharp stop echoing her lingering frustration before her final exit. Turning back with a furious glare, Nana shouts, "Hey, punk!" at Chun Fan, her anger still palpable. Nana declares that she stands by her word, officially approving Chun Fan's early leave privilege with a pointed finger, her expression still fierce. As she finally departs, Nana issues a final warning to Chun Fan, cautioning him that those who train both magic and martial arts never end well, then adds, "Suit yourself." The door slams shut behind Nana, the sharp sound signifying her dramatic exit from the room. Chun Fan sits on the bed, deep in thought, musing that this senior doesn't quite fit the she-dinosaur image everyone had painted. Clearing his throat, the student council president shifts the conversation, stating it's time to discuss business with Chun Fan. The student council president questions Chun Fan, reminding him that the freshman handbook explicitly advises against overloading on courses. The student council president gestures subtly, continuing to explain the complexities of the academy's demanding curriculum. The student council president elaborates, explaining that swordsmanship, movement, and physical training define the physical branch, while meditation, spells, and perception constitute the magic branch. He emphasizes that these two distinct systems, represented by a meditating figure, are completely different growth paths for students. While training both magic and martial arts offers a first-year advantage in combat versatility, the student council president warns that the curriculum deepens, each branch splitting into countless specialized subpaths. Chun Fan confidently states that he already knows this, prompting a curious HM from the student council president. Chun Fan elaborates, comparing the academy's courses to a tree where deeper study leads to an increasingly intricate web of specialized branches. He acknowledges that pursuing both magic and martial arts simultaneously undoubtedly demands a greater commitment and effort. Despite the challenges, Chun Fan declares his unwavering determination to attempt it, confident that with the top student backing him up, he can absolutely succeed. The student council president looks taken aback, uttering a surprised "you" at Chun Fan's bold declaration. Suddenly, a system notification chimes for the student council president, announcing a new message from the principal. Student council president reacts with a hesitant, clearly caught off guard by the unexpected message from the principal. Addressing Chun Fan, the student council president concedes, stating he won't dwell on the course selection since the principal has already approved it. He informs Chun Fan that his schedule will need optimization, promising a new timetable by tomorrow morning, and advises him to focus on resting for the remainder of the day. Chun Fan expresses his gratitude to the president, acknowledging the new arrangements. Chun Fan ponders the uncanny timing of the principal's message, suspecting he's been under observation, wondering if it's due to his SS-rank talent or some other unseen factor. The grand, classical architecture of the academy stands majestically under a clear sky, its imposing presence a symbol of power and knowledge. Inside the opulent principal's office, a figure with flowing white hair stands contemplatively before a grand window overlooking the academy grounds. An ancient-looking man with a long white beard addresses the principal, asking why he appears so downcast, a system interface subtly visible in the background. An ethereal young woman with flowing white hair and piercing red eyes, identified as the Dawn Academy's central main control system, floats amidst shimmering blue cubes, provocatively asking if something happened for her amusement. Floating system entity remarks to the principal that he seems to have become absorbed in Blue Star's anime culture lately, a playful jab at his current state. The floating system entity, ever playful, continues to tease the principal, suggesting his current look is trending on Blue Star and offering her assistance in recruiting more freshmen. The principal, with a stern expression, reminds the system entity of her critical role as the academy's central brain, a fact known only to a select few, implying she should maintain a more serious demeanor. Undeterred, the system entity pouts, declaring that after over 100 years, the principal remains utterly boring, finding no fun in his rigidness. She then attempts to cheer him up, pointing out the strength of this year's freshman cohort, which even includes a SS-rank gifted student, questioning why he still wears such a sour face. The principal, ignoring her attempts at levity, explains a normal person's total attributes typically hover around 10 points, setting the stage for a more serious discussion. He elaborates that the Academy's admission baseline is 20 points and above, expressing his concern over a student named Shaolin, whose total stats are only 9, making him an utterly ordinary person. The system entity simply dismisses his worry with a casual, "So what?" Principal continues, explaining that talents are only detected after enrollment, which means Shaolin should never have received an admission notice. The system entity, however, playfully suggests it might have been an accidental genius pickup, a great outcome in her view. Turning his back, the principal states that this is precisely the issue, revealing that upon checking the records, he discovered something alarming. He directly confronts the system entity, revealing that there is absolutely no admission record for Shaolin within the system. Meanwhile, Chun Fan stands resolute, his form crackling with potent purple energy, a monstrous red entity manifesting behind him, a stark display of his formidable, hidden power. Back in the Grand Hall, the system entity states that this year's total student intake stands at 1,360. The principal, with a grim expression, counters that the central computer only has 1,359 admission notices on record, highlighting the discrepancy. He then expresses his astonishment, stating that nothing like this has ever happened in the Academy's history, and demands answers from the system entity as the main control program. The system entity confidently asserts that 1,360 admission notices were indeed issued this year, insisting there has been no mistake on her part. Principal, insistent, orders her to immediately pull up Shaolin's admission notice for him to review. With a coy smile, the system entity responds, expressing her willingness to cooperate. However, she then drops a bombshell, informing the principal that he lacks the necessary clearance to view that specific notice, leaving him utterly shocked. Principal questions how he, as the principal, could possibly lack permission to see a mere admission notice. The system entity confirms his disbelief, stating she is just as surprised as he is. His eyes narrow, a flicker of intense determination and suspicion burning within them as he processes the unprecedented situation. Accepting the unexpected development, the principal declares they will drop the matter for now. He then commands the system entity to use her highest authority to back up and encrypt all other freshman admission notices, excluding those already locked by special permissions. He then asks the system entity if there is any issue with his directive. The system entity, with a confident smirk, reassures him, stating there is no issue at all. She announces the immediate initiation of the encryption process, her form glowing with digital energy as she executes the principal's command. Reporting her progress, the system entity confirms that all 1,359 student admission notices are now fully encrypted, viewable only by the principal and those with higher authority. She further clarifies that the single remaining admission file, locked under special permissions, remains untouched and under top-level protection. With a knowing look, the system entity questions the principal, implying he doesn't want anyone discovering the true identity behind that mysterious missing admission notice. The principal confirms her assumption, revealing his intention to return to the new world tomorrow. His gaze is distant, lost in thought as he contemplates the kid's growth, hinting at his personal investment in the mysterious student. Trusting the Academy to the system entity, the principal instructs her to keep a closer eye on things. She playfully acknowledges his command with a cheerful "got it." The scene shifts to the Academy's bustling cafeteria the next day, where students line up for their meals, a hand expertly selecting various dishes from the abundant buffet. A surprised, unknown female character, eyes wide with disbelief, confronts Chin Fan. She exclaims, "No way, that guy who passed out after just one class yesterday and even alarmed the student council president. That was you?" Chun Fan, looking slightly flustered as he holds his chopsticks, reacts with an internal before realizing, so the rumors already spread? The unknown female character remarks that Instructor Chung Na is pretty scary, a sentiment Chin Fan concurs with, acknowledging the instructor's truly intense presence. The two students continue their conversation over a meal, their legs visible under the table as they settle into the cafeteria's casual atmosphere. The unknown female character leans forward, a hint of exasperation in her voice, asking Chun Fan if he hasn't even checked his class president privileges yet. She begins to list them, starting with viewing basic information on class members. The explanation continues over a holographic interface showing a student hierarchy, detailing how the class president is also responsible for managing the class group and approving your class members' full immersion simulation field usage requests on their behalf. She emphasizes to Chun Fan that the class president can submit their own simulation field usage requests directly, without needing anyone else's approval, a revelation that makes Chun Fan ponder, submit a request. A finger points to a holographic interface, showing the special tab where applications for student mode full immersion simulation field can be found. Chun Fan confirms with a chibi-like expression, "Thanks, senior, I found it." The unknown female character then quickly adds a cautionary note, stating that since Chun Fan is just a first year, his request is almost guaranteed to get rejected. To her utter astonishment, the request is instantly approved, causing the unknown female character to dramatically spit out her drink in shock, exclaiming, "Oh, it got approved." Her eyes wide with disbelief, the unknown female character fumes at the instant approval, recalling how her own application as class president took 3 whole weeks to pass, lamenting, "We never got treatment like that." She continues to explain the high stakes, revealing that full immersion simulation fields are typically for second years, costing at least 500 exchange points per application, which are only refunded upon clearing the challenge. She warns Chun Fan, if you fail, those exchange points are gone for good. In a different setting, an imposing unknown male character with a long white beard and stern expression declares a significant incentive. Top 3 in the comprehensive exam get early access to the new world. Another unknown male character, with a determined and slightly menacing look, speaks with conviction. After the comprehensive exam, they re-elect class president. By then, you won't even get a shot at the position. A shadowy figure, cloaked and partially obscured, stands in the background, a silent observer to the unfolding machinations. The unknown male character from before, his face contorted in a furious snarl, vows vengeance, spitting out, "Scrawny chicken, just you wait." Chun Fan, with a confident smile, waves goodbye to the unknown female character as he prepares to head to class, while she waves him off, asking, "Heading to class?" and then a cheerful bye-bye. The scene shifts to a training facility where 3 students, 2 males and 1 female, are seen cooling down after a workout, one with a towel over his head, another holding a water bottle. Yang Ziyue, a first year from class 6, angrily adjusts his glasses, raging, "What, trash stats like that and he still got picked as acting class president? Your advisor must be out of his mind. Unbelievable." A clenched fist, wrapped in white bandages, glows with a fierce, sharp energy, symbolizing the intense frustration and power simmering within the training group. Liang Ziyue dismisses Qin Chuan as insignificant, revealing that these advisors are merely last year's first years who got held back. He further scoffs, if he couldn't even make it to second year, no wonder his sharp "I pick trash like Shaolin." Standing tall, Liang Ziyue continues his rant, mocking that brat Shaolin for staying behind to train alone. He then turns his anger to Gu Xiaoye, vowing to make her pay for looking down on him. With a sinister smirk, Liang Ziyue suggests to Brother Dalin, "Why wait for the 3-month exam? We can teach him a lesson right now." Chun Fan reaches for the door, a subtle HM, escaping his lips as if sensing a faint disturbance. Unaware of the brewing plot, Chun Fan pushes his limits, racking up basic physical training EXP +2 repeatedly. His dedication is clear as the system updates. Basic physical training current level, LV.1, 18/100ths. Wiping sweat from his brow, Chun Fan glances at the clock, noting, almost 7 o'clock. Chun Fan calculates his timing, realizing it's a 10-minute walk back to the dorms, just enough time to make curfew. He then ponders his progress. If I keep practicing every day after class, at this rate, I can get basic physical training up to LV.2 by next week. A sharp clack echoes as a hand firmly turns the door handle from the outside. Chun Fan's eyes widen slightly, a single bead of sweat tracing his temple as he utters a questioning HM. A grim realization dawns on Chun Fan as he stares at the door. The door got locked from the outside? He wonders, a frown creasing his brow. Deep within, a formidable power stirs within Chun Fan, manifesting as a swirling vortex of crimson and violet energy, hinting at the raw strength he possesses. The chilling sound of the door locking echoes through the empty training room once more, a definitive clack, 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 sealing Chun Fan's fate for the night. Chun Fan shoves against the unyielding door, his frustration boiling over. "I got locked in here from the outside," he exclaims. "They didn't even check if anyone was inside before locking the door. That's so half-assed." He sighs, running a hand through his hair. "Curfew's almost here," Chun Fan laments. "Looks like I'll have to sleep in here tonight." A sudden clack echoes through the room, drawing Chun Fan's gaze upwards. A ripple of unease passes through Chun Fan as the room plunges into darkness. The vast training hall is swallowed by shadows, leaving Chun Fan a lone silhouette amidst the gloom. Chun Fan lets out a nervous chuckle. Ha ha ha, scared me for a second. It's just lights out. But his amusement quickly sours into irritation. This school doesn't look poor. Why are the lights going out in the middle of the night? Under the quiet glow of the crescent moon, a stern voice questions, "So you're telling me there's an acting class president among the freshmen who's ignoring the rules and wandering around at night?" Han Sen confirms. It was reported to me by first-year class 8 junior Liang Ziyu. It's absolutely true. Chen Yu, identified as Chen Yu, second-year class 1 disciplinary committee member, second-year head student, declares a freshman class president violating curfew must be dealt with strictly to set an example for the others. Chen Yu nods gravely, explaining, right, with the principal off campus, the president doesn't have time to fuss over these ground-level issues. He continues, the disciplinary committee has to hold the line, no slip-ups allowed. Chen Yu states, I'm also serving as head student for the first years, so when it comes to freshman discipline, I can't overlook a single thing. Han Sen, rubbing his hands together with a sly smile, agrees, you're absolutely right, brother Yu. The system identifies him as Han Sen, second year, class 8 disciplinary committee member. Hansen points towards the building, declaring, we're at the training field. I'll go in and sweep the place. Chen Yu simply responds with a curt, good. A sinister smirk twists Han Sen's lips as he thinks that kid Liang Ziyu collects evidence of freshman rule-breaking, and I'm the one who shows up to enforce the rules. A faint purple aura flickers around him. As Han Sen approaches the door, his thoughts betray his greedy intentions. That brat just became acting class president. He's bound to be sitting on a decent pile of exchange points. Perfect chance to cash in big this time. Door creaks open with a soft jia, revealing the shadows of Han Sen and Chen Yu. Han Sen stares into the darkened training room, his eyes wide with surprise. Where'd they go? He mutters, finding it unexpectedly empty. Chen Yu turns to Han Sen, asking, what's wrong? Han Sen hesitates, stammering, well... Han Sen explains, I heard some noises, so I thought someone might be hiding in here. Chun Fan holds his breath, a sly smirk playing on his lips as he peeks from behind a door, having just barely avoided detection. One of the guards, a man with purple hair, states his confusion, weird, that shouldn't be. The taller guard reassures him, explaining that the door was locked from the outside, making it impossible for anyone to have been inside, suggesting his colleague might have misheard. The purple-haired guard laughs it off, conceding that he might have imagined the noise and suggests they continue their patrol. Internally, the purple-haired guard curses his failure, wondering where Chen Fan could have possibly gone, as Chen Fan's silhouette vanishes into the shadows. Under the cover of the starry night sky, a sigh of relief escapes. Phew, that was close. Almost got caught. Chen Fan leans against a tree, his expression a mix of relief and lingering tension as he acknowledges the narrow escape. Chen Fan reflects on the rules, knowing that being caught outside at night as a first-year student would lead to severe penalties. Yet, a deeper suspicion brews, sensing that the entire situation lines up too perfectly to be a mere coincidence. He pieces together the events, being locked in the training room, followed immediately by a disciplinary committee inspection. Chen Fan questions if he's being targeted or merely overthinking the suspicious chain of events. His teal eyes narrow, reflecting a keen intelligence as he scrutinizes the unfolding mystery. Gazing upwards, Chen Fan notices something peculiar in the night sky, not one, but two moons shining brightly. He recalls his teacher's words about the academy replicating the world of Norma, and a realization dawns. The new world must truly have two moons. Walking deeper into the forest, Chen Fan dismisses any thought of returning to the training field. His immediate priority shifts to finding a safe place to shelter for the night. A guttural exhale ripples through the air as a massive, dark snout emerges from the shadows, shrouded in an ominous mist. Chen Fan's eyes widen in alarm, a bead of sweat tracing his temple as he senses the impending danger. Reptilian eye, glowing with an eerie purple luminescence, snaps open, revealing predatory intent. Below him, a colossal purple dragon unfurls its mighty wings, its presence dominating the forest. A wave of recognition washes over Chen Fan as he realizes it's the very same dragon from the Academy's entrance ceremony. The dragon's massive wings stir, creating a powerful gust of wind as it prepares to move. The formidable dragon fixes its glowing purple eyes directly on Chen Fan, its aura radiating immense power. Chen Fan stands frozen, dwarfed by the sheer scale of the beast, its dark form towering over him. A primal instinct takes over as Chen Fan screams run and dashes away with incredible speed, a blue aura trailing behind him. Gasping for breath, Chen Fan glances back frantically, desperately hoping the dragon isn't pursuing him. He vows not to become the monstrous creature's midnight snack. Suddenly, his eyes catch sight of a distant structure, a house, offering a potential refuge. With a surge of determination, Chen Fan decides to prioritize immediate safety, resolving to hide inside the house first. He leaps towards the building, his movements swift and urgent. Inside the house, Chen Fan cautiously looks around, hoping he's finally safe from the dragon's pursuit. His gaze falls upon something unexpected, his eyes widening in surprise as he murmurs, "This is..." He takes in his surroundings, a bizarre, overgrown garden filled with strange flora, prompting him to question the nature of this mysterious place. Chun Fan stares in disbelief at a colossal cabbage, questioning if it can even be called a cabbage anymore due to its immense size. His attention shifts to glowing, sweet-smelling fruit, and a curious thought crosses his mind. Is it edible? His attention shifts to a formidable, dark gray, chicken-like creature with piercing red eyes, and a curious thought crosses his mind. Is it edible? He thinks, and this chicken, it looks, He imagines the creature roasted, plump and juicy, suddenly craving a delicious beggar's chicken. The chicken's red eyes flare with sudden intensity, letting out a sharp, questioning BWK. Before Chun Fan can react, the creature unleashes a torrent of fire, squawking furiously, "BWK, BWK, BWK, BWK." Chun Fan shouts in disbelief, "What the? This chicken can breathe fire." Chun Fan quickly dodges the fiery assault as the monstrous chicken takes to the air, circling menacingly above him. The chicken's head glows with renewed power, its eyes burning red as it lets out another defiant BWK. Suddenly, a hand shoots out, seizing the powerful chicken by its neck mid-flight. Chun Fan looks on, his expression a mix of surprise and confusion at the sudden intervention. A new figure, Song Junlang, holds the subdued chicken, his gaze fixed on Chun Fan. He demands to know, who are you? Which class are you from? Out at night instead of sleeping in your dorm, sneaking into my place, and you were trying to steal my chicken? The two men stand opposite each other amidst the lush greenery, a tense silence hanging in the night air. Chun Fan, regaining his composure, respectfully asks, "May I ask who you are?" Song Junlang lets out an annoyed TSK, clearly unimpressed by Chun Fan's question. Song Junlang reveals his identity, stating, "I am Song Junlang, head of the logistics department. You break into my territory and don't even know who I am?" A system notification confirms his title. With a chilling smile, Song Junlang continues to berate Chun Fan, "You're a freshman, right? You freshmen are something else. Only 2 days into the semester and you already dare to break curfew and school rules. You've scared my chicken. How do you plan to compensate me?" Chun Fan quickly apologizes, explaining, "I am very sorry. I only broke in to hide from the giant dragon outside. I definitely didn't break the rules on purpose. Please let me explain." Chun Fan's explanation begins. Long story short, he recounts finding his dorm room locked. He then describes how he had to sneak out, encountering some confused students thinking this happened, then that happened. Eventually, he concludes, revealing the terrifying dragon that forced him to flee into Song Junlang's territory. Song Junlang nods, seemingly understanding. He then dismisses Chun Fan's fear, saying, "So that's how it is. But don't worry, that big lizard won't attack you. After all, you look way too weak. He's not interested in you at all." Chun Fan visibly recoils, his expression a mixture of shock and offense at Song Junlang's blunt assessment of his strength. Stuttering, Chun Fan thinks, "Be big lizard?" He then exclaims internally, he calls that dragon a big lizard? Song Junlang then addresses Chun Fan's initial predicament. "As for you being locked in the training grounds, that's just a common trick used by those punks in the discipline department." Chun Fan's eyes widen in realization, asking, "You mean someone is actually framing me on purpose?" Song Junlang points to a floating system notification for redemption points, explaining, "Redemption points are the hard currency here." He elaborates on their importance, stating, "Buying equipment, activating simulation fields, and getting rare resources from the new world, everything costs redemption points." Song Junlang's smirk deepens as he reveals the scheme. "Those bastards in the discipline department love entrapment games. They set you up to break a rule, then show up to offer a private settlement." He continues, pointing to another system box displaying core graduation indicators, and states, "And credits are the key to whether you can graduate or enter the new world." With a final, shrewd smile, Song Junlang concludes, "Don't want points deducted? Then you obediently hand over a few hundred redemption points as a fine." Chun Fan's eyes narrow, his thoughts seething at the despicable tactic being employed. He internally curses Wang Dalin, recognizing his hand in hooking up with the discipline department. Song Junlang leans in, a cunning smile playing on his lips as he addresses Chun Fan, saying, "So, Junior." Song Junlang outlines the infractions, staying out all night and trespassing in the logistics department. "These two rules combined will cost you quite a few points, don't you think?" He remarks, a clear threat in his tone. A sudden thump echoes, and Chun Fan's eyes widen, his expression shifting to one of alarm. Song Junlang observes, "It seems the discipline department never used to patrol the logistics department before." He then offers a choice. "How about this? Should I open the door and let them in so you can take your punishment?" Chan Fan, with a calculated smirk, appeals to Song Junlang, Sr. You've told me so much and exposed their tricks. Surely you don't just want to watch me fail? Song Junlang grins, pleased, exclaiming, smart, I didn't waste my breath on you. Song Junlang then poses an unexpected question to Chun Fan. Kid, do you know how to cook? Chun Fan reacts with utter confusion, a single huh escaping his lips as question marks and cooking tools float around his head. Chun Fan hesitantly replies, and maybe a little? His internal thoughts reveal his inexperience. I've only occasionally seen cooking tutorials while scrolling through videos. I've never actually done it. Song Junlang reassures him, as long as you can cook, I don't have high standards. He then lays out his proposal. I'll handle the crowd outside and make sure not a single point is deducted, but you have to do me a small favor. Song Junlang's eyes gleam with hunger as he declares, I've been craving beggar's chicken for a long time. You use this to make me a meal. A hungry roar escapes the chicken. Chun Fan points to himself in disbelief, asking, I'm making it? Song Junlang presents Chun Fan with a stark choice. You're trapped here anyway. You have two options. Either open the door and go out to be punished and have points deducted, or stay here and make me beggar's chicken, and I'll settle everything for you. Chun Fan, now wearing a knowing smirk, agrees, fine, I'll make the beggar's chicken. Song Junlang's smile widens, almost predatory, as he clarifies, let's be clear, you're making this chicken voluntarily. I didn't force you at all, right? Chun Fan enthusiastically agrees, yes, no problem, it's all voluntary. However, his inner thoughts betray a deep unease. I have a bad feeling about this. A hand gestures towards the building as Song Junlang instructs, alright, hide in the room and stay quiet. I'll deal with the group outside. One of the uniformed officers recognizes the taller man. Isn't this our multi-talented sophomore year leader and discipline department star, Junior Chunyu? Song Junlang confronts them, not sleeping in the middle of the night and bringing people to my logistics department. Are you hungry and looking for a midnight snack? Chunyu adjusts his glasses, his expression stern, explaining their presence. During our patrol, we noticed abnormal movement from the principal's pet. We came to check specifically because we were worried someone broke in and caused an accident. Chunyu continues, turning his attention to Song Junlang. As for you, department head Song, you're still messing with this useless stuff late at night. The chicken looks on with a ghostly companion. Song Junlang responds with a sly smirk. Oh, then did you find the cause of the abnormal movement? Song Junlang dismissively retorts, don't tell me you have time to mind my business before you've even handled your own. The shorter discipline department officer angrily asserts, the logistics department is under the academy's jurisdiction. The discipline department has the right to patrol any violations across the entire academy. We currently suspect freshman is staying out all night. Department head Song is not qualified to block our inspection. Song Junlang's smile turns menacing as he cuts in. I'm talking to Chunyu. Does a low-level lackey from the discipline department get to butt in? Song Junlang warns them, you know best what the discipline department does behind the scenes. Annoy me again, and I'll submit a misconduct report directly to the principal on the grounds of overstepping in the logistics department. The shorter officer sputters in anger. You? Chunyu glares, accusing Song Junlang, all you know is how to use the principal to pressure people. Song Junlang delivers a final, cutting blow. Everyone at Dawn Academy knows your overall strength rating isn't even C-class. If the principal hadn't appointed you personally, someone with your strength wouldn't even be qualified for the secretary role, let alone be a department head. Chun Fan overhears a scathing retort as the shadowy figure of Chunyu dismisses Song Junlang as a mere connection hire with insufficient strength, demanding he stop dictating their work with school rules. Chun Fan internally observes the intense hostility Chunyu harbors towards Senior Song, his expression serious. A vibrant, purple-hued collage displays various powerful individuals, their intense gazes hinting at untold stories and formidable abilities. Chunyu, sharply dressed, stands beside Song Junlang, who wears an open white robe, a peculiar dark bird-like creature resting at his feet. Both men gaze downwards, their expressions unreadable. Peeking from behind a brick wall, Chun Fan nervously wonders if the tension between them is about to erupt into a full-blown fight. A dismissive scoff escapes Song Junlang, his gaze sharp as he looks down, clearly unimpressed. Song Junlang challenges Chunyu, mocking his intelligence for daring to provoke him, despite knowing his influential connections. Chunyu vehemently warns Song Junlang that even his ties to the principal don't grant him the right to disregard school rules, asserting the discipline department's formal authority to conduct inspections without obstruction. A sharp ding reverberates as a holographic display materializes before Chunyu, announcing an incoming voice call from the president. With a resolute expression, Chunyu instructs the system to connect the call from the president. Glowing blue hologram of the president materializes, his voice sharp as he questions Chen about his unauthorized inspection of the logistics department, citing information from the smart brain. The president's holographic form sternly orders Chen to return immediately and cease disturbing Minister Song, while Chen protests, claiming they are merely checking for anomalies. Internally, Chen seethes with frustration, lamenting that he finally had an opportunity to truly irritate Song Junlang. Chen furiously accuses the president of blatant bias, refusing to leave without finding the freshman he believes is secretly hiding within the logistics department. The president's eyes glow with intense blue energy as he commands Chen to listen carefully, revealing that the principal and the entire academy are deeply indebted to Minister Song for a massive favor. The president's voice rings with authority, declaring that as long as Minister Song's actions do not harm the academy's core interests, no one, regardless of their position, has the right to interfere with him. Song Junlang looks up with a subtle, knowing smile as the president's imposing holographic form stands watch, silently asserting his authority. Chen lets out an exasperated "tsk" as he grinds his teeth, clearly boiling with suppressed rage and frustration. Turning his head, Chen snarls a warning to Minister Song to watch his back, a clear threat in his voice. Song Junlang meets the threat with a confident smirk, returning the warning right back to Chen, telling him to watch his own back. Song Junlang apologizes to Chun Fan for involving him in the day's events. Meanwhile, Chun Fan, scratching his head, ponders how the academy and even the principal could owe a student such a significant favor, despite the harsh words exchanged. Laughing, Song Junlang reassures Chun Fan he's overthinking the situation, explaining that Chun Yu's hostility is just their usual dynamic and his inspection was primarily an attempt to annoy him. Song Junlang cheerfully urges Chun Fan to go make him some beggar's chicken, to which Chun Fan reluctantly agrees, internally questioning Song Junlang's intense desire for the dish. As they walk, Song Junlang warns Chun Fan that he can't guarantee the dish will taste authentic, but Chun Fan dismisses it, simply wanting it cooked. Fork pierces the glistening skin of a roasted chicken, releasing savory juices as it's prepared. Hands carefully wrap the cooked chicken in large leaves, securing it tightly with string, ready for its unique preparation. The flames crackle, casting a warm glow as Chen Fan meticulously tends to the roaring campfire, adding more wood to build the heat. Beside him, a calm companion observes the process. Two men settle around the blazing fire, the stacked firewood promising a long night of warmth and cooking. Chun Fan takes a moment, sipping from his warm cup, a rare sense of peace washing over him. He reflects that this is the first time he's truly felt relaxed since being dragged to the academy. 2 hours pass, and a rich, tantalizing aroma begins to waft through the air as the unique preparation of the chicken reaches its peak. Letting out a satisfied breath, Chun Fan surveys his handiwork, a proud smirk playing on his lips. He muses that for his first attempt at cooking, it certainly looks successful. A playful thought crosses Chun Fan's mind. Perhaps he's discovered a hidden talent for being a chef. His companion praises Chun Fan, holding up the perfectly cooked chicken and declaring that it looks absolutely delicious. Companion then extends the chicken to Chun Fan, offering him the first bite of his creation. Taking the chicken, Chun Fan asks the man, whom he addresses as Minister Song, if he wasn't going to join him in eating. Minister Song playfully rebuffs Chun Fan, stating that a senior shouldn't steal food from his junior and that the first bite must always go to the cook. Chun Fan eagerly accepts, admitting he hasn't had dinner yet. Chun Fan takes a massive bite, his eyes closing in pure bliss as he exclaims how delicious it is. He describes the meat as incredibly tender, without any gamey smell, and possessing a lovely fragrance, proclaiming it the best chicken he's ever tasted. Minister Song clarifies, his expression serious, that he wasn't asking about the taste, but rather how Chun Fan's body feels after consuming the chicken. Confused, Chun Fan pauses mid-bite, wondering why Minister Song would inquire about his body's condition. Suddenly, a searing pain erupts within Chun Fan, his eye widening in shock and agony. A single, agonizing word screams through Chun Fan's mind, pain! Chun Fan clutches his stomach, writhing as a fiery sensation consumes his insides. He feels as though his organs are melting, the pain overwhelming. Minister Song calmly observes the suffering Chun Fan, who lies on the ground, foaming at the mouth. He asks if the pain is severe and what other sensations he feels, urging Chun Fan to endure it, promising it will pass once he pushes through. Chun Fan, in his agony, realizes why Minister Song hadn't eaten any of the chicken himself. A subtle smirk plays on Minister Song's face as Chun Fan's mind races. Realizing this was no accident, he deduces there's something inherently wrong with the chicken he just consumed. Chun Fan lies prone, drenched in sweat, his body convulsing as the mysterious energy racks him with pain. The golden aura intensifies around him. Chun Fan's body floats, yet the agony remains, a raw whisper escaping his lips. It hurts so much. Chun Fan grits his teeth, his face contorted in a grimace of pain as golden energy visibly crackles across his skin. The golden energy radiates from Chun Fan's chest, spreading like wildfire through his veins. He feels an internal inferno, a burning sensation consuming his entire body. Curled in agony, Chun Fan struggles against the overwhelming pain, yet amidst the torment, a new, unfamiliar sensation begins to surge, a strange, raw power he's never experienced before. Minister Song meticulously records notes in his ledger, detailing the hybrid Iron Crown Chicken number 3. The notes reveal its potential activation factors, its ability to strengthen physical attributes, and the intense rejection phase during consumption. He muses that despite generations of crossbreeding, the strong rejection response persists, requiring further improvement. Minister Song glances down at the unconscious Chun Fan, adding a final note that the true benefits of the chicken can only be confirmed once his junior awakens. The Grand Academy building stands quietly under the clear sky, its brick facade reflecting the morning light. Inside, a cluttered study reveals stacks of books, scrolls, and scientific instruments, hinting at tireless research and experimentation. Chun Fan stirs, a groan escaping his lips as he clutches his throbbing head, lamenting the intense dizziness that clouds his senses. Song Junlang stands over Chun Fan, holding a tray of glowing, golden food, announcing with a grin that he is finally awake. Chun Fan explodes with rage, lunging up in bed to confront Song Junlang, yelling that he can't believe he was used as a guinea pig after trusting him. Song Junlang casually dismisses Chun Fan's fears, claiming he tested it on himself and there's no danger, but Chun Fan furiously retorts, reminding him of the excruciating pain and threatening vengeance if he dies from this meal after fighting so hard to live. Song Junlang holds up his hands in a placating gesture, smiling reassuringly as he asks Chun Fan if he isn't fine now. Song Junlang suggests Chun Fan calm down and check his attribute panel, but Chun Fan, still wary, asks what he's planning now. Song Junlang leans in, a mischievous smirk playing on his lips, urging Chun Fan to simply look, promising a great surprise. Chun Fan narrows his eyes slightly, a hint of skepticism lingering as he considers Song Junlang's words. The sigh, Chun Fan finally relents, stating he will trust Song Junlang one last time as a blue holographic attribute panel materializes before him. The attribute panel appears, displaying name, Xiao Lin, student ID, 201235, credits, 0, redemption points, 0. His initial attributes are listed, strength, 4, agility, 2, intelligence, 2, constitution, 5, with physical attack assessment, F, and magic attack assessment, F-. Chun Fan hums thoughtfully, his gaze fixed on the holographic attribute panel, absorbing the information presented before him. His eyes snap wide open in sudden shock, a surprised exclamation escaping his lips as he processes a new revelation. Chun Fan points at the panel, exclaiming that his strength increased by 1 and constitution jumped by 2, even noting his physical attack assessment shifted from F- to F. A look of disbelief crosses Chun Fan's face as he questions how such a rapid change in his attributes is even possible. His eyes widen further, a new realization dawning upon him as he delves deeper into the displayed stats. Another system message appears, revealing basic physical fitness, LV.3-100. Chun Fan exclaims that not only did his attributes rise, but his basic physical fitness also jumped 2 levels. Song Junlang grins triumphantly, jotting down notes on his clipboard, confirming that attributes and basic skills have indeed increased. Overjoyed, Song Junlang throws his head back and laughs heartily, celebrating the success of his experiment. Chun Fan, now out of bed, demands an explanation from Song Junlang, stating that as the guinea pig for this experiment, he at least deserves to know what's going on, while internally questioning if the effect was caused by the turkey. Song Junlang, realizing his oversight, gestures to a chair, inviting Chun Fan to sit down and discuss the matter properly. As they sit, Song Junlang explains that the chicken, revealed to be a hybrid Iron Crown chicken, is a new species he created by crossbreeding a common domestic chicken with an Iron Crown bird from the normal world. Song Junlang then asks Chun Fan if he's familiar with Isekai novels, to which Chun Fan confirms he is. Song Junlang poses a hypothetical question, wondering how long a primitive man, suddenly transported to modern society, would survive. Chun Fan's eyes light up in recognition, recalling that he has heard this particular theory before. Chun Fan explains that a primitive man in the modern world would quickly succumb to bacteria, as his immune system would be unable to adapt to the new environment. Song Junlang affirms Chun Fan's answer, drawing a parallel to the normal world and Blue Star, explaining that an ordinary person's constitution cannot withstand the entirely different environment of the new world. Song Junlang elaborates, stating that the school president's rule about qualifying for another year before entering the new world is due to the need for specific attribute standards to adapt. Chun Fan then understands, recalling the student council president's reaction to freshmen attempting early entry. With a cunning glint in his eye, Song Junlang reveals his brainwave to use the inherent resistance of creatures from the new world to help freshmen adapt more quickly. Song Junlang recounts his initial attempts, explaining that directly consuming new world creatures resulted in extreme rejection, severe illness, and no attribute gains, narrowly avoiding death. Chun Fan, hearing Song Junlang's harrowing tale of near-fatal experimentation, remarks on his ruthless self-testing. Meanwhile, Song Junlang, in a chibi thought, expresses relief at merely surviving his past attempts. Song Junlang, with a confident smile, reveals that ever since his initial failures, he has been dedicated to researching methods to reduce the severe rejection from consuming new world creatures. Song Junlang proudly announces his breakthrough, a hybrid improvement method. He clarifies that this unique food therapy creates a tolerance, making it effective only for the very first consumption. Chun Fan, understanding the implications, muses that if attribute gains were infinite simply by eating, fitness classes would become obsolete. With a pointed finger, Song Junlang asks Chun Fan for his thoughts, then explains that while the Iron Crown Chicken will no longer work on him, he possesses a plethora of other edible hybrid creatures. Chun Fan, with a knowing smirk and a bead of sweat, directly confronts Song Junlang, stating that after all the explanations, he simply desires a voluntary and free guinea pig. Song Junlang simply chuckles, his closed-eye smile a clear admission of Chun Fan's accurate deduction. Chun Fan, after a moment, agrees to the arrangement but sets a firm condition: the experiments must not be life-threatening. Song Junlang readily assures him there's no need to worry. Chun Fan states his need to return to class, then casually inquires how long he had been asleep. Song Junlang, holding up 2 fingers, cheerfully informs him it's been 2 days. Song Junlang, with a confident gesture and a reassuring smile, tells Chun Fan to relax, boasting about his high-level connections. He reveals that Chun Fan's leave has been approved, granting him freedom to stay out as long as he wishes. Chun Fan exhales in relief, a calm smile spreading across his face, now assured that his academic standing is safe. Chun Fan waves goodbye, announcing his departure. Song Junlang, still smiling, reminds him to return later that night. Lady Hua sits composedly in the bustling cafeteria, meticulously eating her meal with chopsticks, seemingly lost in thought. 2 male students engage in an agitated discussion, one exclaiming his frustration, declaring, "Damn it, this is just weird," as Lady Hua observes them from a distance. The second male student, gripping his chopsticks in frustration, berates his companion for still being fixated on Shaolin, revealing the severe scolding he received because of the situation. The first male student, his face contorted in rage, slams his fist down, expressing his utter dissatisfaction. He recounts how they cornered Shaolin in the training grounds for rule-breaking, only for Chun Fan to vanish for 2 days. To his further outrage, Chun Fan was not only spared expulsion but was also found to have connections with Minister Song from the logistics department. Lady Hua, overhearing the heated discussion, reflects internally on the name Shaolin, realizing she hasn't seen Chun Fan for what feels like 2 days. A tray is gently placed before Lady Hua, causing her to look up, her expression one of mild surprise. Chun Fan, now dressed in his school uniform, appears with a friendly wave. Lady Hua, recognizing him, quietly questions, "Shaolin?" Chun Fan simply greets her with a hi. Lady Hua, her eyes wide with surprise, immediately presses Chun Fan, demanding to know what he has been doing for the past 2 days. Lady Hua reiterates her question, asking Chun Fan about his whereabouts for the past 2 days. Chun Fan, with a slight smile, dismisses it as a long story, promising to explain later. The first male student, spotting Chun Fan in the cafeteria, expresses his shock and indignation, questioning the audacity of this kid to show up. The first male student sneers, sarcastically addressing Chun Fan as our all-powerful acting monitor Xiao, then mocks him for missing 2 days of classes, expecting him to be punished for violating school rules. His companion tries to intervene, urging him not to cause a scene in public. The first male student, arms crossed and a sneer on his face, condescendingly tells Chun Fan that his efforts are futile, calling him an inept bird. He further taunts Chun Fan, declaring that no matter whose influence he relies on, he will never close the gap in strength. Chun Fan, with a dismissive smirk, casually cleans his ear, then sarcastically praises his tormentor, telling him to keep it up. The tormentor, his face contorted in rage, erupts in fury, demanding to know what kind of crappy attitude Chen Fan is displaying. He continues his tirade, warning Chen Fan not to think he's a big deal just because he's associated with Song Jelong from the logistics department, emphasizing that in this academy, strength is the absolute truth. The enraged student snarls, challenging Chen Fan to show off all he wants for now, promising to reveal the true gap in their abilities during the comprehensive exam. Chen Fan simply thinks to himself, crazy, his expression one of mild annoyance. Lady Hua leans in, asking Chen Fan if he's seen the new notice yet. Chen Fan responds with a curious What notice? Lady Hua clarifies, making a point with her finger, revealing that the time for the first comprehensive exam has been rescheduled. Chen Fan questions, rescheduled? Lady Hua confirms, explaining that it was originally 3 months later, but now it's been cut to 1.5 months later. Internally, Chen Fan notes that the exam time has been cut exactly in half, meaning he has significantly less time left to improve his abilities. Chen Fan realizes he's already missed 2 days of basic meditation class and must hurry to catch up, or he risks not even passing the assessment, let alone getting into the top 3. A new character, Li Meiling, a third-year student and substitute teacher for basic meditation, points at Chen Fan and asks if he's that Shaolin kid. Li Meiling confronts Chen Fan, accusing him of bullying her nana, causing trouble in swordsmanship class, and forcing her to agree to his arrogant request. Chen Fan quickly defends himself, explaining that Li Meiling has misunderstood. He clarifies that he never bullied Senior Chang Na. She was the one who initiated a test of strength, which he passed with his own abilities. From the seated students, a male voice shouts, bullshit, in disbelief. Li Meiling dismisses Chen Fan's explanation, stating that she knows he insisted on dual magic martial cultivation despite Nana's kind advice against it, even pressuring the student council president. Li Meiling scolds Chen Fan, declaring that if Nana hadn't spoken on his behalf, she wouldn't have allowed him into her classroom, demanding he be grateful. Chen Fan, resigned, simply responds, all right, senior. As she turns away, Li Meiling remarks that arrogant freshmen like Chen Fan don't understand Nana's good intentions. Li Meiling recounts a past incident, explaining that Nana once guided a junior just like Chen Fan, who stubbornly insisted on dual magic martial cultivation despite repeated warnings, leaving Nana no choice but to let him proceed. Li Meiling dramatically asks about the result, revealing that in his very first encounter in the New World, the junior was torn to shreds alive by an alien race due to his unrefined spells and half-baked swordsmanship. Li Meiling continues, describing the grim aftermath. When the junior's body was sent back, it was nothing more than a pile of shredded meat. The image focuses on Nana's tearful face. Li Meiling passionately asks if Chen Fan understands Nana's profound guilt, explaining that the incident became a lifelong nightmare for her and accusing Chen Fan of knowing absolutely nothing. Chen Fan remains silent, absorbing the weight of Li Meiling's story. Chen Fan realizes that Senior Chang Na opposed his dual magic martial cultivation not out of disdain, but because of a past tragedy similar to the one Li Meiling just described. Chen Fan acknowledges, I understand, Senior. Li Meiling looks surprised by his sudden comprehension. Chen Fan reassures her, a confident smirk playing on his lips, declaring that he won't let such a tragedy repeat itself on him. Chen Fan further clarifies his resolve, stating that everything he does is to ensure his survival in the new world. Li Meiling's eye reflects his determination. Li Meiling scoffs, easier said than done. She warns Chen Fan that she won't give him private makeup lessons for his missed classes, telling him to figure it out himself. Chen Fan simply replies, got it. The conversation concluded, Chen Fan rises from his meditation cushion, preparing to leave the class. Lady Hua waves to Chen Fan, calling him over. Chen Fan turns, a look of surprise on his face as he notices Lady Hua. Lady Hua hands Chen Fan a notebook, explaining they are the notes from the last 2 days of classes. Grateful, Chen Fan thanks her, admitting he was just worrying about falling behind. After receiving the class notes, Chen Fan immediately dives into studying, learning the fundamental truth that this world is divided into 4 major elements: wind, fire, water, and earth. He quickly attempts to apply his newfound knowledge, meditating to perceive the elemental energies around him, with faint wisps of wind and fire swirling in his vicinity. However, a bead of sweat forms on Chen Fan's brow as he struggles, a thought echoing in his mind. Something is wrong, but he can't pinpoint why. His frustration mounts as he realizes the truth. He can't perceive anything at all, hitting a complete wall in his elemental cultivation. Observing Chen Fan's struggle, Elder Chen extends a hand towards a glowing golden fruit, asking if he's hit a bottleneck in meditation class. Chen Fan, holding a basket of greens, confirms his predicament, then asks Elder Chen if he possesses anything that could enhance his perception. Elder Chun looks exasperated by the request, humorously asking if Chun Fan thinks he's Doraemon, leaving Chun Fan dejected. Elder Chun explains that Chun Fan's situation is completely normal, as the hardest step in meditation is always the initial breakthrough from 0 to 1, which can take months. Chun Fan, however, cannot afford to wait that long, declaring his need to improve his strength in all aspects before the first assessment in just over a month. Elder Chun ponders the situation, then suggests Chun Fan seek out classmates in magic courses to learn from their experience, emphasizing that elemental perception is directly linked to the intelligence attribute. The mention of the intelligence attribute sparks a realization in Chun Fan, his eyes widening with a new idea. With a confident smirk, Chun Fan remembers his authority as acting monitor, which allows him to access his classmates' basic attribute values. He immediately thinks of Lady Hua, who undoubtedly has the highest intelligence. His finger swipes across a holographic interface, accessing the student profiles with a decisive motion. Sudden, shocking detail catches his eye, causing his pupil to dilate as he exclaims, "Wait a minute, what is this?" The system panel reveals Lady Hua's profile, displaying an intelligence of 36 points. More alarmingly, her natural lifespan is stated as 26 years, with only 2 years remaining. A vibrant purple-themed montage flashes across the screen, hinting at the deeper, darker currents beneath the surface of this world. Driven by this alarming discovery, Chun Fan bursts through a door with a resounding slam, his expression urgent and determined. Inside, Lady Hua is calmly meditating, and she greets him with a polite "good morning," seemingly unaware of his distress. Chun Fan quickly settles into a meditative pose opposite her, his intense gaze prompting a silent question from Lady Hua. Chun Fan explains that as the acting monitor, he has the authority to view classmates' profiles, including their lifespan. He then directly confronts Lady Hua, stating he saw her profile and that her natural lifespan shows only 2 years remaining, before internally cringing at his own awkward approach. Lady Hua's eye widens in surprise, a silent ellipsis conveying her shock at his blunt revelation. After a moment, Lady Hua simply confirms, "Yeah," acknowledging the truth of her limited lifespan. She then turns her gaze to Chun Fan, asking him why he would bring up such a sensitive topic all of a sudden. Leaning forward with intense concern, Chun Fan questions if she's suffering from a serious or even terminal illness, desperate for answers. With a determined expression and a powerful blue aura, Chun Fan declares his commitment to help. He states that they've been through life and death together, and he can help her figure something out. Lady Hua is left utterly stunned by Chun Fan's earnest and unwavering offer of support. Lady Hua, still processing Chun Fan's unwavering offer, clarifies her condition, stating it's not a serious or terminal illness, but something she was simply born with. Chun Fan's expression sharpens as he processes her revelation, realizing this explains her intense interest when Qin Chuan mentioned the school's ability to increase one's lifespan. Lady Hua simply affirms his understanding, her gaze steady. She continues, reminding Chun Fan about the teacher's warning. Failure in the admission assessment meant memory erasure and a return to Blue Star. For most, this was a setback, but for Lady Hua, it signified a return to a life with only 2 years remaining, with no hope of altering her fate. With a gentle smile, Lady Hua expresses profound gratitude, acknowledging that Chun Fan's help allowed her to secure her place and seize this singular opportunity. She then specifically thanks Miss Lin. Chun Fan casually dismisses her thanks, reminding her that their initial collaboration was simply a strategic move to maximize rewards and ensure a mutually beneficial outcome. Despite his earlier casualness, Chun Fan then offers genuine support, telling Lady Hua she can call on him anytime for help, as he now considers her a friend after they survived the admission test together. Lady Hua quietly acknowledges his sentiment. A sudden, sharp clatter echoes through the room as the large speaker system activates. Substitute teacher pauses, her attention drawn to the students, a curious HM escaping her lips as she observes the class. The substitute teacher, in her chibi form, scoffs, acknowledging Chun Fan and Lady Hua's timely arrival and begrudgingly offering them a sliver of praise. Chun Fan, ever pragmatic, quickly accepts the compliment with a polite yes. Yes, thank you for the praise, senior. Her tone shifts abruptly as the substitute teacher points an accusatory finger, scolding the students for their lack of progress. She reminds them that some couldn't even complete basic elemental perception during the last class, threatening to expel anyone still struggling and send them to practice swordsmanship instead. Chun Fan nods politely, outwardly agreeing, but internally notes the substitute teacher's surprisingly explosive temper despite her petite and seemingly cute appearance. The classroom is filled with students, their eyes closed in concentration as they begin their meditation practice. Chun Fan sits amongst them, his brow furrowed and a bead of sweat forming, indicating his struggle with the meditation. As purple energy swirls around him, Chun Fan internally confirms his frustration. Just like before, he remains unable to perceive even a single elemental trace. His eyes open with a determined glint. Chun Fan realizes conventional methods are useless and he must resort to his last desperate move. With a surge of purple energy, Chun Fan's eyes glow brightly as he declares his intention to activate the top student skill. Around him, other students are enveloped in faint purple auras, some stirring as if sensing an unusual shift in the environment. System interface appears, initially displaying NO skill detected before identifying skill detected. Basic meditation LV1 copyable from a nearby student enveloped in a blue aura. The narrator observes that most students are at level 0, with only a few barely reaching level 1. Chun Fan's keen eye surveys the room, searching for something more. His gaze settles on a female student emanating a bright yellow aura. The narrator exclaims, praising Gau Xiaoya's genius-level intelligence of 36, noting her magical talent utterly crushes everyone else. The system promptly detects her skill detected. Basic meditation LV6 copyable skill. With a resolute command, Chun Fan activates his ability, his eyes glowing purple as he declares, copy. The system swiftly confirms the successful acquisition. Skill copied. Basic meditation LV6. Duration 3 minutes. As vibrant red and blue elemental energies swirl around him, Chun Fan begins to process his new perception, a single word of realization escaping his thoughts. So, he sits calmly amidst the swirling elemental energies, a profound understanding dawning upon him. This, he realizes, is the world as seen through the eyes of a mage. With renewed determination, Chun Fan knows he must seize this fleeting opportunity, leveraging the copied meditation effect to internalize the state of elemental perception and permanently unlock the skill for himself. Meanwhile, the substitute teacher, slumped over her desk, finds the class utterly boring and uninteresting, fantasizing about sneaking away to play with Nana. Her expression clearly shows her deep boredom, a bubble of exhaustion forming above her head as she rests her chin on her hand. Substitute teacher's internal monologue continues, lamenting that the students perceive magic as too simple, questioning if elemental perception is truly that easy to master. She concludes that only Gau Xiaoya in the entire class possesses even a semblance of talent. Her internal monologue is abruptly interrupted as Lady Hua's eyes widen, catching sight of something truly unexpected. She utters a surprised, The power of the elements themselves begins to converge around Chun Fan, drawing towards him on their own initiative. Lady Hua's internal thoughts reel. The power of the elements is actually gathering toward him on its own initiative. Lady Hua, now fully in her teaching attire, stares in utter disbelief. How is this possible? She exclaims, just based on his intelligence of only 2 points. A subtle smirk plays on Chun Fan's lips as the vibrant purple energy intensifies around him, a clear sign of an impending breakthrough, marked by a crisp ding sound. System notification flashes, confirming the acquisition of a new ability. Skill unlocked. Basic meditation. Current level LV10 Chun Fan beams with satisfaction, acknowledging his success. It worked, he exclaims, remembering Senior Song's words. As long as you can perceive the existence of elements, you can unlock the basic meditation skill. Lady Hua approaches Chun Fan, her tone sharp, addressing him directly. Hey, brat. She confronts him, demanding to know how he, who couldn't even touch the edge of the elements yesterday, is now causing such a commotion. Lady Hua insists he confess. What kind of underhanded tricks did you play? With a determined grip, Lady Hua seizes Chun Fan's wrist, her voice firm as she commands him, come with me. Dragged along by Lady Hua, Chun Fan stumbles, calling out to her in surprise. Senior? Standing before a holographic interface, Lady Hua instructs the system to display Chun Fan's skill information. Smart Brain, pull up student Chun Fan's skill information. Lady Hua's eyes widen in utter shock as she reads the screen. Basic meditation LV1, it's actually unlocked. Lady Hua's stern voice cuts through the air, telling Chun Fan, you know what I'm going to ask. Don't play tricks with me. Confess right now. Lady Hua points an accusing finger at Chun Fan, her frustration evident as she exclaims, who are you trying to fool? Chun Fan raises a hand, attempting to placate her. Senior, please calm down, he begins, claiming he simply studied the notes Gau Xiaoya gave him in private and consumed various random items from Senior Song's residence. He suggests maybe one of the fruits Senior Song gave me had a temporary element perception enhancement effect, and I just stumbled into it by luck. Lady Hua considers his explanation, recognizing the mention of Song Junlang, a known eccentric. She muses, something made by that madman Song Junlang? If that's the case, then it's actually quite reasonable. Lady Hua sternly warns Chen Fan that being Song Junlang's lab rat is incredibly dangerous, as the man would wager his own life for research. Don't foolishly get yourself killed, she cautions. Chen Fan, however, casually dismisses her concern. Yeah. Thanks for your concern, senior. Chen Fan then shifts the topic, asking Lady Hua, by the way, senior, when do we officially start learning spells? A hopeful smile plays on Chen Fan's face as he awaits Lady Hua's response. Lady Hua pokes Chen Fan's forehead, eliciting a surprised ah from him. Lady Hua, arms crossed, scoffs at his eagerness. With your intelligence stat of only 2 points, you want to learn spells? She questions. She reminds him that basic meditation is merely the entry threshold. Subsequent element control and spell formation all demand significant intelligence. Lady Hua firmly states that for him, mastering spells in the first year is pure wishful thinking. Chen Fan, looking dejected, can only acknowledge her words. I see. Chen Fan's thoughts turn grim as he recognizes his low intelligence as a fatal flaw. He laments that the top student skill copy can only be used temporarily, and each use requires a whole 7 days of cooldown. Can't be used for daily cultivation at all. He ponders if he truly has no alternative but to concentrate on physical attacks, yet he knows a trump card is essential for the upcoming assessments. Lady Hua watches him, sensing his internal struggle. Lady Hua observes Chen Fan, noting his incredibly low stats and deducing he's forcing himself into dual magic martial cultivation just to raise his stats as much as possible. Below, Lady Hua's expression softens as she understands his desperation, realizing he simply wants to survive the brutal freshman assessment. Yet Chen Fan endures the strain, a harsh cough escaping him as his teal eyes burn with unyielding resolve. Lady Hua, maintaining her stern demeanor, explains that her guidance is a rare kindness, one she wouldn't offer just anyone. She then prompts Chen Fan, asking if he observed other students utilizing staves for attacks during the entrance examination. Chen Fan's face lights up with understanding, confirming that he indeed witnessed others wielding staves. With a surge of blue energy, Lady Hua demonstrates a basic energy bomb skill, explaining that while not strictly necessary for spellcasting, a staff significantly lowers the threshold for elemental control and amplifies elemental perception. She elaborates that the novice staves provided during the entrance test were pre-enchanted with the energy bomb skill, making them accessible to any user with sufficient intelligence. Lady Hua then directs Chen Fan to the Academy's equipment trading area, where he can find various novice staves pre-enchanted with useful skills. Her staff glows with a soft blue light, emphasizing the potential power held within such enchanted equipment. Overjoyed by the revelation, Chen Fan expresses his profound gratitude to Lady Hua, his face beaming with renewed hope. As she hands him a staff, Lady Hua sternly warns Chen Fan about the dangers of the trading area, cautioning him to avoid defective items that might explode after limited use. She further advises him against attempting to wield high-tier staves, bluntly stating that his current intelligence would struggle to stabilize even a basic skill and demands his understanding. Chen Fan, looking down at Lady Hua as she departs, assures her that he understands her warnings and thanks her once more for the crucial advice. Lady Hua walks away, her steps echoing with the weight of her parting counsel. With a final, serious gaze back at Chen Fan, Lady Hua delivers her ultimate reminder: survival is paramount, far more important than any pursuit of strength or display of power. Chen Fan reflects on Lady Hua, realizing that beneath her fierce exterior and tough words lies a reliable and genuinely kind heart. Now at the Academy's bustling trading area, Chen Fan, clad in a new formal attire, mentally tallies his 800 available exchange points. He considers the cost of activating the holographic simulation field, noting the 500 exchange point deposit, fully refundable upon success but directly deducted upon failure. With the simulation field's cost reserved, Chen Fan realizes he only has 300 exchange points left to spend on equipment, picking up a short sword to inspect. After a week of careful selection and negotiation, Chen Fan successfully acquires 2 enhanced novice weapons, a staff with the Ice Bolt skill and an E-rank physical damage short sword equipped with Wind Blade. Clad in tactical combat attire, Chen Fan stands ready, his equipment, skills, and mindset fully prepared for the challenge ahead. It is time. His confident stance and determined gaze confirm his readiness to face whatever trials await him. A system prompt appears, requesting confirmation to activate the E-rank holographic training simulation field, reiterating the 500 exchange point deposit and its refund policy. Without hesitation, Chen Fan presses yes, initiating the simulation. The simulation field materializes around Chen Fan as a stark red warning box announces the activation of the holographic training simulation field by freshman year, class 7 student Chen Fan. The environment shifts dramatically, transforming into a volcanic landscape as a system prompt warns, "Student, please get ready." Chun Fan's gaze sharpens, his expression grimly determined as the fiery simulation fully forms around him. In the shadows, a monstrous, mutated rat emerges, its glowing red eyes fixed on Chun Fan, letting out a guttural roar as more red eyes hint at unseen threats. Chun Fan grips his newly acquired short sword, which crackles with blue energy, revealing that he chose an E-rank difficulty for his training scenario. A horde of mutated rats charges forward, their roars echoing through the desolate landscape as they close in on Chun Fan. With his glowing short sword raised, Chun Fan declares his intent to test the full power of his new weapons in this very first battle. Without hesitation, Chun Fan unleashes his first strike, his glowing short sword carving a brilliant teal energy arc through the air, piercing directly into the monstrous target before him. A system notification flashes, revealing the activated skill, Wind Blade. This potent ability slashes out a blade of wind element energy, designed for piercing and dealing critical armor-breaking damage to its target. Chun Fan's eyes burn with fierce determination, his body crackling with the same teal energy. He understands that only by relentlessly leveling up and growing stronger can he hope to survive the brutal death assessment that awaits him and ultimately truly survive. As his resolve hardens, a montage of powerful figures and looming threats flashes through his mind, hinting at the formidable challenges and potential allies that lie ahead on his perilous journey.